Absolutely.
I met a priest when I was 11.
You fairy.
He said he would save my soul, but we made a detour on the way to heaven, and into his bedroom we did take a stroll.
All right.
Well, he was standing in his underwear, told me to bend over and say a prayer. Pulled up his robe and went, "Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. I got molested by the preacher man behind the rectory."
Rectum.
The next day, I felt like a sinner, and I showed up to get communion. But on my tongue, that wasn't a wafer, and it wasn't wine dripping off my chin.
Oh my God.
Well, he was standing in his underwear, told me to bend over and say a prayer. Pulled up his robe and went, "Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. I got molested by the preacher man behind the rectory."
Rectum.
Yeah, he was standing in his underwear, told me to bend over and say a prayer. Pulled up his robe and went, "Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. I got molested by the preacher man behind the rectory."
Rectum. Hell, it damn near killed him.
Anyway, QAM non-sports time is 10:02. Happy Monday to you. It's October 30th.
About 30, man.
I like that. You know what that means, don't you?
Nothing?
Two things.
Oh.
No, it doesn't mean much. It means tomorrow's Halloweeny, and it means a week from tomorrow's Election Day. You think there's some connection there, possibly? Uh-huh. U.S. military deaths in Iraq in October reached 100 today, making this the deadliest month for American troops in a year. The death toll mounted as militias and al-Qaeda staged fierce battles in Baghdad and other parts of the country, despite a 4-month security crackdown in the capital and additional U.S. troops on the ground. Ain't working too well. And, meanwhile, a bomb explosion in the Sadr city area of the Iraqi capital of Baghdad has killed at least 30 people.
About 30, man.
And injured more than 60. I think it's up to 39, the death count so far. That's today, of course. The blast occurred early this morning in the Mudafa Square on the edge of the densely populated, predominantly Shia district. It's the Shias and the Sunnis and the Kurds and the Sunnis and the Shias, and the Getchkis and the Orthodox and the Reform and the... It is so freaking sad, man. Here's the poll result from, and the reason that there's so many votes on here, number one, and so few on the one today. Today's poll, we only got 557 to get started. We'll have a tough time getting to 1,000, I think. You want to know why?
Why?
I forgot about it.
Oh, well, whatever.
No, I faxed Eric the new poll like early in the day, and then I just forgot about it till about 9 o'clock last night, and I thought, I didn't switch the poll yet. Oh, no. And that's a good one today. Thanks, Sean, who obviously is having wife problems or something, or maybe just reconsidering his life. That's on Sean's pile, that poll. Don't blame me for it. Doesn't make any difference anyway. We can do all the women-offensive polls we want because we don't have any women listening anyhow.
That's right.
We're not going to offend anybody. Not that we would mind offending anybody, would we?
No.
No. Anyway, 2,372 votes on the poll from Friday. Most of the world's problems are caused by religious intolerance, like the Shias and the Sunnis and the Getchkis, and religious intolerance, 1,045, a full 44%. Greed, 661. Ignorance, 344. And how dumb do you have to be to believe all that religious fairy tale stuff?
How dumb can you get?
Well, that's how dumb you have to be. Corruption, 163. Overpopulation, 103. Quit making so many babies, especially all you schleppers out there. The rich get richer and the poor have babies. They've been saying that ever since I was like a little child. I heard them saying that. And you know what? They're still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Overpopulation, 103. I hate this poll, only 42, a mere 1.7%. That's very low by our standards. And natural disasters, only 14. Out of 2,372 votes on that poll from Friday. How about those Dolphins? Did lose yesterday. I see Josh's team had another stellar game. Oh, man.
Okay.
They got. I'm not going to rub it in. What the hell do I know? I mean, the Patriots got to play the Vikings tonight. They could easily lose that game. And then next week, they got to play them damn Colts. Oh, man. I saw some of the lowlights of that game. What the hell's the story? You talk about blowing the game right there in the ass end, Denver. Looked like they had them beat, didn't it?
Yeah, almost.
They didn't. Guess who died, by the way? Maybe Josh heard of him. I'm sure George didn't.
That boxer guy?
No. A boxer died?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope it wasn't Puppy.
Barber boxer?
I know who you're going for. Red Auerbach?
There you go. Very
Sorry.
good. Arnold Red Auerbach, who for more than a half a century was the competitive, combative, and occasionally abrasive personification of pro basketball's greatest dynasty, the Boston Celtics. You know who once upon a time did the play-by-play for the Celtics, don't you? Died yesterday in the Washington area. He was 89. He used to smoke he was famous for smoking the big stogies. It goes to show you, if you smoke big fat stogies like Weinstein, Churchill, and Red Auerbach, you're going to die. He was 89, though. Wouldn't you be happy to make it to 89?
Sure, I'll take it.
I wish I could smoke cigars. I really do. They just tear up my throat, and they're not good. Not good for you. He died of a heart attack, the AP said, according to an NBA source. In 2 decades of NBA coaching, Auerbach won 938 games, a record when he retired in 1966, as well as 9 record NBA championship titles, a number he shares with Phil Jackson. In those 20 years, 16 with the Celtics, Auerbach had only 1 losing season while winning almost 2/3 of his games. He was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1969, 11 years later recognized as the greatest coach in NBA history by the Professional Basketball Writers Association of America. I got news for you, Mo. You ain't no Johnny Most, I'll tell you that. That same year, 1980, he was inducted a second time into the Hall of Fame in recognition of his contributions to the game, and now he's dead. Arnold Red Auerbach, one of the forget about it. I don't care about the NBA anyway. He's just a colorful guy. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Why? Because he started playing the first black
Red.
players? Is that why you're saying that?
I beg your pardon?
I said because he started playing the first black players? Is that why you're saying that?
Oh, you're bad. You are really bad. Everything he turns into a racial thing. Have you noticed that? We're getting really sour now because you probably forgot to turn the clock back on Saturday night.
I definitely did not.
Oh, good for you. Here's today's poll. Boy, he is surly just because the Tampa Bay Bucks suck and they lost again yesterday. They did score a touchdown, though, I see. That's pretty good. What's the worst thing about women? 582 votes. Non-stop bitching, 120. Bitching and moaning. Although I voted for nagging myself.
Yeah, that's what I voted for.
Mood swings, 116. It's that time of the month, like every other day or every other minute.
It doesn't have to be that time of the month. Yeah.
That's why I just said that sarcastically. You were just. Well, the sun is shining here. How do you like that? There's sunshine. It's about freezing. Never say what they mean, 72. Unrealistic expectations, 72. Nagging, 66. That should be doing much better. Nagging.
Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why did you do this? Why did you...
Nagging. There is nothing worse than a loud, shrill, nagging bitch. Oh, I'm sorry. I hate this poll. 54, 9.2%. That certainly couldn't be all women. We don't have that many women. When they get saggy and sloppy, and believe me, they eventually will, 54. No sense of humor, 18. And rush to commitment, 10. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? Rush to commitment.
Oh, that they always want to get their hooks into you, you know. Just dating isn't good enough. They need to get married and paying all their bills as quickly as possible.
I bet you Josh's Russian girlfriend wants to get married right away.
No, not at all.
Good. Thank God. Boy, are you lucky. Don't do it. Don't ever do it. Let George give you 85,000 reasons why you shouldn't do it. He'll explain it to you.
He wrote them
By
all
the way,
down.
our sales department is just, I know the audience gets really tired of me bitching and moaning like a woman about that sales department. But it's just, I just can't deal with it, man. They're crazy people. Anyway, speaking of that, Beasley Broadcast Group said third quarter net income fell 37.1% to $2.4 million and revenue dipped 3.1% to $31.1 million. Beasley Broadcast Group. Softness in Philadelphia and South Florida, which includes Power 96, KISS, and QAM, plus lower national ad sales caused the declines. The Naples-based company said in a press release, let's send Miguel out there in the street corner by the sub shop, the sub center, with a bucket to raise money for the Beasleys. Let's find another revenue stream.
Yeah, it's all that reggaeton crap they're playing on Power, too.
In Miami, third quarter results reflected the expense of WQM's baseball broadcast rights. Oh, the Marlins are killing us. God, you're killing us, David Sampson and Delilah. And lower revenue at Power 96, which we are seeking to address through operational and personnel changes, said George Beasley, chairman and CEO. Through operational and personnel changes. Oh, no. Lower revenue at Power 96. They're playing what? Reggae?
Reggaeton. That's that
reggaeton music?
They just play it all day long. And
why do they do that?
Tanner said so.
Oh, what is it? Hey, Tanner.
You fairy.
In this regard, we began to realize sales and operating improvements at our Miami sports station resulting from changes implemented earlier this year. Let me read that sentence again. In this regard, we began to realize sales and operating improvements at our Miami sports station resulting from changes implemented earlier this year. Beasley Broadcast owns and operates 43 U.S. radio stations. See there, even George Beasley from our Miami sports station. How do you like that?
What station is that?
I don't know. Must be this one. Sports Radio. QM Sports Time is 11 past 10. And Eileen Solar's got an article in the Herald yesterday. Wisecracking, pair a couple of sports junkies. I'm going to read that about our new morning show, the Kenny and Bo Without Mo morning show. 600 votes even on the poll about women. How about if we put nothing?
Like what?
Nothing. Well, the worst thing about women, nothing.
Sure.
Nothing, I love them. Or nothing, they're great. Nothing, they're great. How's that?
Okay.
For all those guys who haven't been unfortunate enough like most of you have. I mean, maybe there's some very lucky guys out there who've only met sweet, wonderful women who never bitch or nag or,
I've heard stories.
Yeah.
Like you do about, Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster.
Loch Ness Monster, right.
I've never really seen these creatures, but you hear stories about them.
Oh, I'm sure that there might be some, maybe one or two.
There has to be.
Maybe not necessarily in the U.S., eh?
Right.
Of course, a lot of these Canadian women are awfully dykey looking, but that's just those haircuts and those outfits. I don't know what you're laughing about. It's true. There's a lot of very dykey looking Canadian women and British women. I think it's the British connection.
Maybe
conjunction.
Their toque off.
I think, or maybe the burqa. I told you that already. I don't know what you're laughing about. There are many people in my building. There are many Muslim people in this building, and some of them wear the full what do they call it? I don't know what it is.
It would be a surreal experience, I think. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and boy, they multiply like rabbits. I'll tell you that. It was scary. 10:13 at 560 WQM, your sports station. That's our sports time on your sports station with your oh man. This sales department, they put a lot of spots on the air, I will say that. They're not doing much else. They certainly aren't, they're crazy people. Today is October 30th, which means you've got, you and Lou Backroad Chevy got just 2 days to take advantage of this deal that they're running now, their race to 1,000. For the first time in their history, Lou Backroad Chevrolet, where I've been buying my great Corvettes and other cars for over 20 years now, they want to sell 1,000 cars in 1 month. So if you want to help them do that, but more importantly, take advantage of the fantastic deals that are waiting for you right now, then you got today and tomorrow to do it. They have the biggest selection of new and used cars, including those hot new Vets, trucks, SUVs, and minivans anywhere in town. They've also got great used cars starting at just $3,995. Every single one of them backed by a Carfax guarantee. You won't find any lemons on a lot. Like I said, Lou Backroad's out to sell 1,000 cars in October, and they're staying open late till midnight every night to get that number. Today and tomorrow, that's it. Forget the price. Make them an offer. They'll beat any deal. More money for your trade, 0% financing, rebates up to $6,000. Whatever it takes, they'll do it for you. Only at Lou Backroad Chevrolet with 2 locations for you. In Pompano Beach, a quarter mile west of I-95. By the way, how'd that go yesterday, Josh?
It was great.
And at Coconut Creek on 441, just south of the Sawgrass Expressway. Don't forget they're staying open till midnight every night. So get your fat ass over to Lou Backroad Chevrolet right now and get the best deal on a Chevy you ever gotten in your pathetic life. Or check them on the wicked web at Lou Backroad, BACHRODT, LouBackroad.com.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Not talking about women. Hey, boy, what's that in your mouth?
You fairy.
In the head one day, she can't walk in a straight line. I get a kick out of the way that she wants to sue me. Never had one leg and was thinking lucky to be in my life. I let her be my wife, but I should have used my brain about the way that she wanted to screw me. If I had one leg, it would have been a lonely gift, and I didn't want to have her. Just another skanky groupie.
I say to hell with both of them. 1019, here's a fax from University Dodge sending us faxes again. That couldn't be Kimba, could it?
Maybe.
It says, for the poll, their memory. If you screw up, they'll never ever forget it, and then they'll make damn sure you don't either. They'll never let you forget about it.
All right.
Their memory. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Nothing. They're greats already. Got 1 vote out of 632. Nothing wrong with women. They're all great. Anyway, here's Eileen Solar's column from yesterday's Miami Herald, wisecracking for a couple of sports junkies. If you missed the show on Friday, by the way, I took a call on Friday. For those who think I don't take any calls anymore, I took one on Friday.
Yep.
And if you missed what they said, it was,
Hi.
That was it. Okay, anyway, it says 2 hometown guys are making a good team on a local morning radio sports talk show. Well, thank God for a little press, a little PR, baby, because we sure need it. And, of course, those Beasley numbers, I shouldn't have thrown that story out. I shouldn't have Schmidt-canned it. Didn't it say Power 96 was in the dumper, but they're going to can everybody's ass over there because they're playing that garbage all day? That, what is it?
Reggaeton.
What did you call the music? Reggaeton.
Reggaeton.
Rigatoni music.
Sure.
Sounds Italian to me. Anyway, Eileen writes, it's a guy thing from 7 to 10 a.m. weekdays on Drive Time Sports Radio. I can't stand it anymore. Sports Radio, WQAM, 560. Armchair quarterbacking, chair-hot burgers, dolphin cheerleaders, and manliness are topics for testosterone-driven banter between two local dudes heading the Kenny and Bo Morning Show. There's no question that they got the male audience out there, don't they? Or at least 0.9% of them. Since late August, Kenny Walker of Davie, formerly the daring Y100 co-host, the legendary John Footy Cross, has teamed with former Dolphins player and current WFOR CBS4 weekend sportscaster and lunkhead Kim Bocamper of Plantation. Kimba lives in Plantation? I didn't know that. Better sell the house. The result so far is a marriage made in locker rooms. What do they mean by that?
Yay.
I get to make fun of Kenny when his shirts look sappy, so that's every day, Bocamper quipped in a recent Wednesday morning station break. Walker happened to be wearing a stylish yet confident bluish blousey top with yellow, green, and pinkish graphics. Sounds very gay to me. But I beat Bo at golf, Walker snapped with a smirk. They play golf. Walker, who drew a huge listening base at Y100 with his outrageous War of the Roses candid phone segment that triggered couples into on-the-air spats, said he and Bocamper are a balanced team. Walker, married for 8 years to Dory Grogan, director of events and entertainment for the Miami Dolphins, and the father of Garrett 7, Brody 5, and newborn Lily, represents the everyman fan perspective, while Bocamper speaks from a professional athlete's point of view. The duo provides sports infotainment interwoven with news and commentary about local and national sports teams. It's all served up with post-game critiques, a little bit of sex, and heavy doses of humor. Call-ins are welcome. Oh, baby. Bocamper said the show is a throwback to the days when guys hung out in barbershops to talk about sports, women, and gadgets. Remember those days?
No.
So how'd it go at Lou Backrow yesterday, Josh?
Awesome. Got the 3 Z06s right there in the showroom.
Yeah.
I almost test drove one.
Don't let him take one. You'll never see him again. Bocamper, married since 1980 to Colleen and the father of Courtney, 20, and Kimberly, 14, joked in a player talk that he and Walker signed on with a 4-week contract and options to take a 5th pending negotiations. We take the job of doing the show seriously, but wait, what makes us fun is we don't take ourselves seriously, Bocamper said. Unlike the guy that precedes them,
rock solid.
He takes himself very, very seriously.
Rock solid.
Actually, in the radio world, shows can last as long as advertisers buy time and listeners tune in. It says, Program Director, the unctuous, unqualified, and on the way out the door, Josh Darrow, said the Kenny and Bo show will likely air for a very long time. We have fun, have some laughs, and when something is serious, we'll do that too, Darrow said. It's a little bit of everything. All right. There's a little free publicity in the Herald by Eileen Solar. Thank you, Eileen, for sucking up. That was very nice. Clarence said we're having a little fun. Of course, he said that back in the days of the morning, what do they call that, abortion?
The Zunu Magoo, whatever.
No, that's not what they called it. The morning abortion. With Ron Hersey. Oh, my God. Wow. Oh, that was really beyond belief. Carolyn was on that show, too, by the way.
Yeah.
649 votes on the poll. What's the worst thing about women? This is one of, I want to make very sure, Sean's poll. Sean is one of our regular poll providers.
Right.
Well, no, I don't want them to think that I'm picking on the ladies out there, because what do I care? Right. I mean, Mom's dead. She was some kind of a nag, though, I'll tell you. Oh, brother.
Now, what's wrong?
Oh, God. What's the worst thing about women? Non-stop bitching, 134. Mood swings, 130. Neck and neck, nose to nose. We got a good battle going on between those two. Unrealistic expectations, 80. Like there's that first kiss and then right away, when are we going to get married? When are you going to give me a ring? Never say what they mean, 79. Nagging, 75.
Yeah.
I hate this poll, 69.2%. When they get saggy and sloppy, 59. When their boobs hang down to their knees. No sense of humor, 19. Rush to commitment, 10. Nothing they're great for. And their memory, none. I don't think that's going to get many votes, their memory.
No.
I don't think that's probably they never forget would be a better way of putting it. But I don't want Eric to have to change that. Because I'm sure he's got a lovely wife, and he's got a nice little family there up in Orlando, and, he's not going to be participating in this, or he'll get cut off for a while. Al-Qaeda's got plans for an October surprise. How do you like that?
Oh, my God.
Is Osama bin Laden going to weigh in on the midterm elections? A senior counterterrorism official, according to Newsweek, anonymous like other officials Newsweek spoke to, because the subject is sensitive, says that based on previous patterns, such as the release of a rare bin Laden tape just before the 2004 presidential vote, a message before Election Day would not be surprising. Private expert and pervert Evan Kuhlman, who consults for the feds on terror probes, says Al-Qaeda has lately released tapes at the rate of 2 or 3 a month. This month, they're short by 1 or 2, so he thinks a pre-election message is a very good likelihood. Another U.S. official says intel experts believe Al-Qaeda wants to be relevant to the U.S. political process. It's a week from tomorrow, Election Day. Vote early and often. But a third counter-terror official says we don't have any indication Osama and company are about to service. Spokesman for the FBI and Homeland Security Department said they were unaware of specific intel foreshadowing an attack on U.S. soil before the elections. Overseas, the threat is more ominous. Reports of a possible attack on Saudi oil installations, which could raise U.S. gas prices again. Oh, that would be bad. The perpetrators would probably be Saudi Al-Qaeda affiliates. Methods could include truck or boat bombs. U.S. agencies aren't certain of the threat's credibility. They don't know nothing. They're just guessing. Well, it could be this, or maybe they will do it, maybe they won't. Who the hell knows, right? They don't know nothing. That's why you're paying all those tax dollars, because they know nothing. But we are killing a lot of people. That's the good news. 26 past 10 at 560 WQAM. That's our sports time here. It's Eastern Daylight Time. You're right. This really, I really don't care. You know what I mean? In other words, I set the clocks all back. And I guess I got an extra hour of sleep as a result, and I don't really care one way or the other. It makes no difference to me.
I just don't like the changing.
Isn't going to change my life. You know what I mean by that? It isn't. When you get to be my age, you're just glad to wake up in the morning. That's all. When you get to be old. Sunday's my birthday, by the way. Aren't you excited about that? I'm sure the cards are pouring in.
There's a pile of them every day blocking the door. Got to get a hand truck to move them out of the way.
Yeah, I feel piles right now. Hey, speaking of birthdays, it's Dollar Mattress's 30th birthday.
About 30, man.
And to celebrate, Dollar Mattress and Simmons are offering you the lowest price of the year on the best-selling Simmons Beauty Rest pillow top. You can sleep in real comfort like I've been doing for years on a great Simmons Beauty Rest. You can choose from South Florida's biggest selection of Simmons Beauty Rest and get same-day delivery from our good paisans at Dollar Mattress. So if you're finally ready for a really great night's sleep, just make that easy call. No running around town, no wasting time, gas comparison shopping, because you know when you make that call, you get the best deal possible. Dollar Mattress, it's 1-800-MATTRESS. Gives you factory direct prices, award-winning service, no nonsense, no BS, no rip-offs, no off-brands. Dollar Mattress gives you 12-month financing, and with Dollar Mattress, they deliver when you want them to. Any day, 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. You pick the 2-hour window, and they show up on time, even the same day that you call. That's why Dollar Mattress has been and continues to be ranked #1 in the world in customer satisfaction, and why just about everybody at QM uses Dollar Mattress. On the web, check them out at dollarmattress.com, or like I said, pick up your instrument and call 1-800-MATTRESS, 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S for savings and sales holes.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Is that it now?
That's it. It's you.
I want to double check and make sure. That's it?
I'll go get a second opinion if you want.
Salespeople are ice holes.
This week on ABC.
Once we dragged you on the dance floor, you were like a disco machine.
From the creators of Dancing with the Stars.
Come on, it's not the cha-cha unless you feel the gentle curve of your partner's glance.
Sarah Evans and her husband star in
I once did a naked dance for her.
Cheating on the Stars.
Did you have any clue that he was cheating on you?
Y'all cheat on your all damn women. High volume billions, no.
Cheating on the Stars.
My shrink couldn't make our appointment. He found his third wife in bed with his second wife and got so depressed that he downed an entire bottle of his bulimic daughter's Prozac.
10:32, that's our QAM sports time. That's our jockstrap licking and sniffing time. We have 687 votes on the poll. Let's make it to 1,000 today, even though we had a late start. That's my bad. I apologize profusely, don't I? No. Who cares? Just and you know, we never got a fax. We never got a call because we're not taking any calls, thank goodness. But I'm sure that would have been one of them from Dave the Cop saying, hey, my Cardinals won the World Series. Maybe Dave the Cop is gone these days.
He knows the fax number. I'm sure he'll fax from wherever he's at.
I'm sure he's gone. He's gone. They don't want to listen to some fat old fag on the radio reading news stories all day for 4 hours. That's why a lot of the audience is gone. They wanted to, call up every day and talk crap. And that part of the audience that wanted to call up every day and talk crap, we'd be delighted if they'd go away. The only problem is, they're not. They're the last ones to ever leave. Chronics. Maybe we could come up with something that they could drink, like some chronic tonic would be good, like cure that disease.
No.
Just days after the Cardinals won the top honor in Major League Baseball, the World Series, in a boring, very lowly watched series. I didn't watch 10 minutes of the whole thing. How much did you watch, Josh? You watched the whole series?
No, I watched probably a total of 9 innings.
Ponderous. Really boring. Non-competitive. Tigers just, they forgot to show up. And their fielding, you can't complain about their fielding prowess because they didn't have any. They kept throwing it away. Anyway, their hometown jumped to first place on a list that nobody wants to be in first place on, the most dangerous cities in the U.S., eh?
Oh, my God.
St. Louis. The Midwestern city has long been in the upper tiers of the annual ranking of the nation's safest and most dangerous cities compiled by Morgan Quinto Press. Violent crime surged nearly 20% there from 2004 to last year, when the rate of such crimes rose much faster in the Midwest than the rest of the nation. It's just sad the way this city is, resident Sam Dawson said. On the news you hear killing, someone's been shot. A lot. The second most dangerous city was Detroit. Oh, what a surprise that is. Followed by Flint, Michigan. That's Michael Moore's hometown. And Compton, California. The rankings released early today came as the city celebrates Friday's World Series victory at the new Busch Stadium, the Big Arch. St. Louis has been spending millions of dollars on urban renewal, even as the crime rate climbs. St. Louis Mayor Francis Slay, he just slays me, didn't return calls to his office seeking comment yesterday. Among Ohio cities, Cleveland was ranked as 7th most dangerous, Youngstown at number 9, and Cincinnati 18. Scott Morgan, president of Morgan Quinto Press, a private research and publishing company specializing in state and city reference books, said he's not surprised to see St. Louis on top of the list, since it's been among the 10 most dangerous cities for years. It's a dangerous, nasty, hot, humid place. It blows. Morgan said the study looks at crime only within St. Louis city limits, with a population of about 330,000. Doesn't take into account the suburbs in St. Louis County, which has roughly 980,000 residents. The burbs. The safest city in 2005 was Brick, New Jersey. Never heard of it in my life.
Brick?
Brick, as in go throw one out the window. A population of about 78,000, followed by Amherst, New York. You know what that's a suburb of, don't you? You don't want to live there. Buffalo. Oh, nobody wants to live there. And Mission Viejo, California, a city of just under 100,000 people south of L.A., with a very young median age of just 37 years old. What's the median age in South Florida, about 90? Cities are ranked based on more than just their crime rate, Morgan said. Individual crimes such as rape or burglary are measured separately compared to national averages and then compiled to give city a ranking. Crimes are weighted based on their danger to people. The national FBI figures released in June show the murder rate in St. Louis jumped 16% from 2004 to 2005, compared with 4.8% nationally. They're killing each other. They're killing us. While crime increased in all regions last year, the 5.7% rise in the 12 Midwestern states was at least 3 times higher than any other region, according to the FBI. Most dangerous 25. And then we've also got the safest 25. Guess what's number 25 on the safest list? Port St.
Lucie?
Right. 25th safest place. Of course, who the hell would want to live there? Besides that idiot Greg from Port St. Lucie. The most dangerous 25. You're going to be surprised. I don't see, other than the 25th, which is Orlando, I don't see any Florida cities on here. Not one.
Gee, I'm surprised.
Most dangerous 25. St. Louis, number 1. Number 2, Detroit. Then Flint, Michigan. Compton, California. 5th is Camden, New Jersey. You don't want to go there. Birmingham, Alabama. Cleveland, 7th. Oakland, California, 8th. Youngstown, Ohio, 9th. Gary, Indiana, 10. Oh, the schmutz. Oh, the smoke, the filth. Richmond, California, 11. I never heard of it. Did you?
No.
Richmond, California? Maybe it means Richmond, Virginia, but it says California. I don't believe that. Oh, no, Richmond, Virginia is on here. Sorry. Baltimore's 12th. Memphis, Tennessee, 13. Trenton, New Jersey, a festering outdoor sewer, an outdoor septic tank, a sump pump, is 14th. Richmond, Virginia is 15th. Kansas City, Missouri is 16. Atlanta, 17. Cincinnati, 18. Washington, D.C. is 19. North Charleston, South Carolina, 20th. Reading, PA, 21st. Newark, New Jersey, 22. New Jersey blows. Little Rock, Arkansas, 23. San Bernardino, California, 24. And the 25th most dangerous city in the USA is Orlando. Get out of there, Eric, while you're still getting good. Safest 25, Brick, New Jersey. See, I mean, a lot of these are places nobody ever heard of. Amherst, New York is 2nd. That's Buffalo. Mission Viejo, California, 3rd. Newton, Mass, 4th. Troy, Michigan, 5th. Colony, New York, 6th. I never heard of it. Irvine, California, 7th. Cary, North Carolina, 8th. Greece, New York, 9th. That's a suburb of Rochester. Coral Springs is number 10, Josh.
Oh!
10th safest city in the U.S., eh?
All right.
You going to move back? No.
Not anytime soon, no.
Thousand Oaks, California, 11th. Orem, Utah, 12th. What about Goyam, Utah? Orem. Round Rock, Texas, 13. 14, Dover, New Jersey, then Lake Forest, California. Sterling Heights, Michigan. Simi Valley, California. Simi Valley is 17. Roswell, Georgia, 18. Who now wants to live there? Lee Summit, Missouri is 19. Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, 20th. Chino Hills, California, 21st. Gilbert, Arizona, 22. Edison, New Jersey, 23. Cranston, Rhode Island, 24. And 25th safest city in the U.S. is Port St. Lucie, Florida. Aren't you excited about Coral Springs being the 10th safest? Aren't we always hearing about gangs and violence in Coral Springs?
All the time.
God, they're just making it up. My phone rang. You don't think there was a email down there? I mean, not an email, a FedEx. It's ringing again. It's ringing again. You better talk for a second while I go get it. All right, so there's a COD package down there for me. I have no idea what it is. I got to go down and get a guy $6.30 from UPS. I didn't order anything. What the hell could it be?
Well, I sent you something. It better not be COD.
Oh, no. If you sent me something, I got to go down and pay in the middle of the show $6.30. The guy's down there waiting.
They charge me postage, so I don't know why they would be charging yours on.
Oh, no, that's customs, man. You don't get it. It's nothing to do with postage. It's customs. You sent me something?
What an ordeal. Yeah, it's your birthday coming up, isn't it?
Oh, what a jerk. I told you, don't be doing that.
I told you I was going to anyway, so.
Oh, stop doing that, you idiot, you goofball.
No.
Anyway, I got to do a thing here. I got to get my clothes on.
Do a thing. Well, it ain't
10:40 is our QAM sports time. You know, an auto accident's a traumatic experience. Shock, stress, it's something nobody wants to happen. But when it does, you need help answering all those questions that'll race through your mind. What do I do now? Do I need medical treatment? Do I need an attorney? Am I entitled to compensation? So many questions, so much confusion. You better be sure you call the right number the first time when you need help. 1-888-CRASH-61. It's a free call. There's no obligation. 1-888-CRASH-61. That's 1-888-CRASH-61 because you need answers right away, not another accident. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 1-888-CRASH-61. It's your auto accident hotline. 1-888-CRASH-61. Toll free and no obligation. Get all your questions answered about your auto accident and what you need to do. 1-888-CRASH-61. That's 1-888-CRASH-61.
The biggest names. Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
They got the what? Yeah, look.
Well, don't you know? That's the sound of the men in Shake and Charlie's game. Crazy Shane. That's the sound of the men in Shake and Charlie's game. Shane. You thought that homely Mark Foley was straight. What a surprise. He's not the only Republican phony who likes guys. In time you'll find Christ is gay. The moral party swings both ways. That's the sound of the men in Shake and Charlie's game. Daisy Shane. That's the sound of the men in Shake and Charlie's game. You fairy Shane.
Wow, what the hell is this?
Crap. Just to aggravate you and make you spend money during the...
A Sidewinder.
Yeah, they don't make those for the 30 gigs anymore. It took a lot of trouble finding that one.
Well, thanks, George. Wasn't that sweet of George? Although you should have just sent me a condolence card. When you get to be my age, you don't send gifts anymore for birthdays. You send a card saying, oh, I'm so sorry. 64 is so freaking old.
Yeah, it's ancient.
I don't feel a day over 63, and I'm still not 64 until Sunday, so cut the crap. Right. Anyway, look at this, a Sidewinder. What's different about this than my iPod?
Well, no, it's for the iPod. It's you put your iPod in that, and it's a case that.
Oh, this is a case.
Yeah, and then a little thing pops out that looks for you to wind the cord on. There are a million cases for iPods, but only the Sidewinder actually provides a place for you to wrap your cord.
Oh.
Yeah, for what it's worth. Yeah.
Well, that's really exciting.
There actually should be 2 objects in there, so.
What do you mean by that? Well, there's also the MP3 player travel case.
Yeah, that's for all your accessories.
That's the nice thing. That's the spiffy. No, that's good. Nice case. You're a case, all right. A lunatic. Cost me $6.30 Canadian, eh? Now, don't you understand that the postage, see, most people don't realize that.
I guess I still don't.
Never realized that either when I started ordering stuff to be delivered here. That's why in the middle of the show I have to keep rushing downstairs, throw my clothes on, my shoes. Oh, brother. A lot of stress, a lot of pressure. I was back pretty quick, though, eh?
Yeah, you were.
That's because I had the right change, $6.30. I can handle that. Always got a lot of good change.
It's insane, the postage they charge you. You think that all of that is taken care of, but
that's not customs, mister.
I know.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you, man. I'm trying to explain it to you, Lucy. It's not customs. There's another charge.
Those bastards.
Yeah. It's a scam. It's a Canadian scam. They got to get some money somehow. They ain't got no people to get the tax money out of. Although the taxes here are really outrageous. 722 votes on the poll. What's the worst thing about women? Non-stop pitching, 147. Mood swings, 145. Almost dead even. Look at that. Unrealistic expectations, 87. Never say what they mean, 86. Nagging, 86. They'll kill you. I hate this poll, 64, 8.7%. Well, we like it. When they get saggy, I almost said soggy. Saggy and sloppy, 64, same difference. No sense of humor, 19. Nothing, they're great, 13. There you go. 13 women voted. Rush to commitment, 10. And they never forget, 8. Yeah, on the first date, they want to get married. They want to, like, especially if you got some money, if you got something they want.
Well, there isn't a first date unless you have money.
X-rated instant messages risk GOP control in Florida. What does that mean?
To run. The outspoken
there's that unctuous, obnoxious Catherine Harris.
Those Beltway boys in Washington, D.C., they don't get to vote in Florida.
You're a crazy person, Catherine. Everybody knows it. You're crazy. Like that. Crazy person. She's got 2 chances, much less than none, and minus infinity, Catherine Harris. Tiny's got a better chance of being elected to the Senate, and he's been dead for a couple of years. Your buddy Doug Thompson is circulated again. I always worry about him. You know, I'm always afraid that one of these days we're never going to see another column from him. He's going to disappear. Yeah, he's going to go off to Syria, perhaps, like Mayor Arar. Doug Thompson says, close the curtain on 12 years of GOP failures, please. Talked to a Republican political operative lately, and once you get by the false public bravado that all of them try lamely to project, you see nothing but desperation in their eyes. Oh! The world is crashing down on the party of the elephant, and they have only themselves to blame for the disaster that awaits them November 7. A week from tomorrow. Oh, is that going to be an exciting day or what? I don't know. In the House, Republicans are most likely to see a net loss of 20 to 35 seats, and with it their majority, says respected political analyst Charlie Cook. In the Senate, the GOP could lose at least 4, but a 5 or 6 seat loss is more likely. A 6-seat change tips the chamber in Democratic hands. Doug Thompson says, I've known Charlie for more than 20 years, and he doesn't make reckless predictions. If anything, he plays it safe. Projecting a loss of 20 to 35 seats in the House means big trouble for Republicans. Publicly, Republicans claim the election will swing their way on voter turnout and local issues. Privately, they admit they're screwed. We're effed. That's all there is to it, a prominent GOP strategist told me over the weekend. We followed George W. Bush into the black hole of Iraq, and there's no way out. We're effed. Well, F them. Bush's political hitman, Karl Rove, promised Republicans in October surprise to turn the tide, but the surprises kept drowning the Republicans. Mounting losses in Iraq, the Mark Foley congressional page scandal, and increasingly dismal economic news. In key Senate races, Republicans are dumping millions in last-minute attack ads to try to sway voters. Here in Virginia, our local NBC affiliate ran 71 ads from Republican incumbent George Makakowicz Allen, the National Republican Senatorial Committee, and the Republican National Committee attacking Democratic challenger Jim Webb during Sunday's telecast of the NASCAR Nextel Cup race. But while Republicans try to con voters one more time, America is headed for serious trouble in the real world. Comptroller General David Walker warns the U.S. is headed for an economic disaster because of the budget-busting spending policies of Bush and the Republican-controlled Congress. Just before this election, he embarked on a fiscal wake-up tour to drive the message home. You can't solve a problem until the majority of the people believe you have a problem that needs to be solved, Walker says, and that's the central problem from too many years of control by a reckless and irresponsible Republican Party. Republicans refuse to believe there is a problem, especially one of their own making. They increase government spending while cutting taxes, driving deficits to record levels. Bush continued to argue that the Iraq war is winnable, even though his own generals and a vast majority of the American public know otherwise. The Republican leadership of Congress tried to ignore a serial sexual predator in their midst, hoping the problem would go away. It didn't. For the past dozen years, the mantra of Republican leadership in Congress was evasion of the facts and avoidance of reality. Now, 12 years of corruption, dalliance, arrogance, and outright malfeasance have come down on the GOP like a plague of locusts, leaving behind a rotting, putrid sludge that used to be a great nation. A rotting, putrid sludge. I can almost smell it. Must be wafting across Lake Ontario, eh? The first step to cleaning up the mess comes next week when we march into the voting booth and vote to throw out the garbage. But that's only the first step. If the polls and prognosticators prove right, we can't waste time celebrating an elephant's death. We have to make sure that the party of the jackass that takes its place doesn't return to its old ways of doing business. Change is only the beginning, and change must be the mantra that guides us all in the coming years. If the Democrats F up this opportunity, it'll be time to scrap our current system of government and find one that works. How do you do that? Huh? Revolution, sounds like. You first. All right. I'll follow you guys right out there into the streets. Not. So this thing is it's a thing.
It's a case, and there are a million and one. No, there are no other device has as many accessories for it as the iPod, as I'm sure you've.
Oh, I know that. I got a nifty rubber case for it, but it certainly ain't as durable as this thing.
I like the rubber.
This thing is really
rock solid.
But that's got all kinds of things. Like it's got a kickstand so that you can set it up and look at it while you're playing with it.
Really?
It'll stand up on end. And the Sidewinder thing was the big selling point for me because nobody gives you anything to do with your headphone cord. Like, what the hell, like to wrap it up.
Huh.
So, whatever. I didn't actually play with it.
Well, thank God for that. I wouldn't want to be touching anything.
No, you're the first one to touch it. Outside of the Chinese guy that made it.
I'm putting it right in its nice, nifty case here, my MP3. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. And maybe someday I'll open it up again.
Maybe.
Now, actually, my prized possession is what you did for me was that Come On Little Angel by the Belmonts. I can't believe you found that, number one. Number two, I got it. That is just amazing. Good song.
Yes,
not great, not spectacular, not one of the all-time best songs, but good.
Good to have. Good in rotation.
Brings back a lot of memories. I can't remember what the hell they are, but, when you get to be this old. Happy birthday, Neil. Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Oh, what a stupid, that whole business. That's Sunday. And then Tuesday we got Election Day.
I will say this, though. It got there fast.
When did you send
your
it?
package. Like
you let me worry about my
Friday
package,
or
okay?
something like that.
You sent it on Friday and today is
Monday?
Monday?
Yeah, that's when I ordered it.
It's from
Thursday or Friday.
JR
Music
JR?
World. JR Music World. I've ordered stuff from them before.
Oh, and Maspeth, New York. Well, where the hell is Maspeth,
I would have ordered it from
New York?
Amazon, but like I told you, nobody makes those Sidewinders for that size.
Where's Maspeth, New York?
I have no idea.
Well, let's Google it, shall we? One moment, please. Never heard of it. Map of Maspeth, New York. Look at this.
Yeah, now you got to zoom out to see where the hell it is.
Oh, it's New York City. In fact, it looks to me like it might be, I can't really tell where that is. Is it on Long Island? It's somewhere. 11378, Maspeth, New York. I never heard of it in my life. So anyway, if it's coming from New York to here, that's not very far. You could throw a rock from here to the Maspeth, probably, right. Massapequa.
But you know how that shipping and handling thing always is. They sit on it for a week sometimes.
On UPS?
No, I'm talking about the company.
UPS. UPS is great. Not as good as FedEx, but damn near.
Right.
In fact, maybe sometimes better. No, those are two of my very favorite businesses, UPS and FedEx, man.
No question.
Uh-oh, look at that. I just crossed out the last break in the next hour.
Getting us a little bit ahead of us?
Not that I'm in a big hurry to want to potski around with my new play toy or anything like that, but 750 votes on the poll. We better really work hard. We're not going to get no 1,500 a day, and that's my bad.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 UAM.
Yeah. This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
No. If you're offended by that other down-home family-style restaurant with cracker in the name, then you better stay the hell away from the new down-home family-style restaurant with cracker in the name. But if you ain't, come on in to White Cracker Barrel. You'll be seated in one of our two separate but equal dining rooms. In the white room, you'll enjoy a cocktail like a White Russian, White Lady, White Spider, or any type of wine, as long as it's white, or a beer. And the kids will enjoy Kool-Aid or milk, sorry, no chocolate. Relax to our piped-in music with no no rhythm whatsoever. Your discriminating taste will be prejudiced for our new exclusive menu, like southern fried chicken, white meat of course, smothered in white gravy. Or try the other white meat, pork chops with applesauce. And for the seafood lover, try our exclusive whitened Cajun whitefish. And everything is served smothered in mayonnaise. And in our black dining room, you can sit in the back, finish your meal, then get the hell out. Either way, you'll get what you deserve at the all-new White Cracker Barrel. Down-home family-style restaurants where white is always right.
See, I don't know what the big deal of it is. If you put cracker in the name, doesn't that mean you want to do business with crackers?
Okay, sure.
Maspeth is old-school Queens at its best. A neighborhood of families, small shops, and restaurants. Residential Maspeth is, on the Maspeth Plateau, the last high ground in western Queens, with great views of Manhattan skyline, but the city feels a world away from homey Grand Avenue's posh delis and Irish bars. Don't you just want to go there right away?
Yeah, if I can go now, yeah, sure.
Maspeth's western industrial area slopes down to Newton Creek, which borders Brooklyn. To the north is Woodside. Elmhurst is northeast. Middle Village is east. And to the south is Ridgewood. The main drag in Maspeth is Grand Avenue. Oh, sounds grand to me. And at its core is where Grand meets 69th Avenue, just off the LIE, the Long Island Expressway. This commercial heart extends several blocks along Grand, north and south of the LIE, which cuts Maspeth in half. Makes me long for Westbury and Roosevelt Raceway. Long gone. Rest in peace. Well, there you go. Maspeth here. See, we're learning something educational on the show every day. Thanks to George sent me that really nifty Sidewinder for my iPod. I thought it was like some kind of a gadget, you know?
Well, it's kind of a gadget.
I'm disappointed. I'm joking. Just relax.
Whatever.
Just to try to teach you a lesson to quit spending money and sending me crap, okay?
No.
I can afford my own crap.
I know
it's a nice gesture, but every year I tell you, don't send me something, damn it.
And I ignore you every year.
Well, Josh will come in there and give you a wet kiss on the lips just as a way of saying thanks.
Even after you're dead, I'm going to send stuff to your carcass.
Probably.
How do you like that?
That's because of that guilt trip that you're on.
What guilt trip?
Guilty conscience. I don't know.
I buy something for everybody on their birthday.
You know
that
what I was
like.
thinking about this morning while I was shaving and wanted to slit my throat?
What?
I don't know. Oh, I know what it was. Yeah, him.
Why?
Because I was thinking about our mutual ex-friend Ponytail. I was thinking about that whole episode, you know, and my mother dying. And I don't like yentas, man. I don't like, guess what? Neil's mother died. You know, calling everybody in the phone book. Sucking up. Quit sucking up, Rimmer. Don't you miss Farrell and I? No, just go away. Don't you miss Farrell? I remember one time he called me up and in the middle of a conversation. I'm your best friend. I'm your best. I said, no, you're not. See, it's one thing about me. I don't play the game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'll tell it right to your face, right to your ear. No, you're not. Don't you miss Farrell and I? No. 765 votes on the poll. Yeah, he just was annoying. And as far as the other one is concerned, no comment. The second dancer in the Duke rape case has said for the first time that the accuser told her to go ahead put marks on me after the alleged attack. You following that?
Okay.
Dancer Kim Roberts made the new allegation, which she hasn't shared with authorities, in an interview with Chris Cuomo that aired today on Good Morning America. Roberts' allegation comes after Durham District Attorney Mike Nifong's admission in court last week that he hasn't yet interviewed the accuser about the facts of that night. As she drove the accuser from the March 2006 Duke lacrosse party, Roberts told ABC News the woman was clearly impaired and talking crazy. Roberts said she tried several different times to get the accuser out of her car. The trip in that car from the house went from happy to crazy, Roberts told Cuomo. I tried all different ways to get through to her. I tried to be funny and nice, she said. Then I tried to, be stern with her. We're kind of circling around, and as we're doing that, my last-ditch attempt to get her out of the car, I started to kind of, push and prod her, Mm-hmm. Roberts said she told the woman, get out of my car, bitch. I push on her leg, I kind of push on her arm, Roberts said, and clear as a bell, it's the only thing I heard clear as a bell out of her was, she said she pretty much had her head down, but she said plain as day, go ahead, put marks on me, that's what I want, go ahead. Roberts said the comments chilled me to the bone, and I decided right then and there to go to the authorities. Roberts wasn't aware at the time of any rape allegations which were first made by the accuser after police arrived and taken the woman to a crisis center. In the interview, Roberts appeared reluctant to talk about her new allegation. It's something that's been weighing on my heart, and I worry that maybe I won't be called to trial, Roberts told Cuomo. She reached for a tissue. Because of so much of the accuser's statements differs from mine, I might not help the prosecution at all as a witness, she said. No kidding. Roberts became visibly upset as she described the accuser's comments for the first time, at one point stopping the interview. I don't even want to talk about this anymore, she said. Why is it so hard for you to reveal that, Cuomo? Asked Roberts. Because I think it's going to make people rush to judgment. It's going to make them stop listening. And I don't like this at all. It's going to make people not listen. I'm sure you're probably not even going to play this. It's going to make people not listen to any other part of the story. It's going to make people so judgmental. It's going to solidify their opinion so much they're not going to want to hear other aspects of the case, which I think are just as important, yada, yada, yada. Who cares, you know? Who the hell gives a crap? The lacrosse team, my ass, you know? Duke. By the way, I don't think the Hurricanes could have lost another game this weekend. That would be a 5-3 record. Did they really lose to Georgia Tech, or maybe I dreamt that I saw that last part of the game?
No, it was no dream.
When it looked like they were going to make that last-minute comeback, and they decided with 2.5 minutes left in the game, rather than trying an onside kick, they punted away, and bada bing, they stopped Georgia Tech on 3 straight girls' running plays, and they still had, what, like a minute and a half left in the game?
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech, that punter for them really did a hell of a job. He kicked a whopping, gigantic punt, and here goes the Hurricane kid back, and he, right through his hands, man, drops the ball, and Georgia Tech flops on it. Game over, Canes lose again. Oh, I can't believe that. 3 losses in one season. They've only played 8 games. Wow. Aren't we cursed? Thank God that Dolphins had the bye yesterday, because no matter who they would have played, they would have lost, you know? When you stop and think about the fact that they lost to Houston, and what's up with that Oakland game? Who the hell did they beat yesterday? Like the Steelers, was it? Who did they beat?
That's right. No, they beat the Steelers.
That's because Head Job Boy is out of there now.
Yeah, he's
injured.
Head problems.
He's got head problems. Ben. Big old Ben. I wonder if he's kin to Uncle Ben. You think so? 781 votes. I think we'll get to the 1,000. I mean, it's only 11:08. Now, let's take a look at that schedule today. Mad Dog is back, thank God.
All right.
That's not a shot at Curtis. We're just glad to have the Mad Dog back. There's only one. Well, actually, there's lots of Mad Dogs, but there's only one Jim Mandich. Mad Dog 2 to 4, Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog, rekindled again, reunited 4 to 5. Remember that song, Reunited? That sucked.
Peaches and Herb. It was a horrible song.
Peaches and Squirm, man. It was pathetic. They're reunited. Hank solo 5 to 7.
Funny.
No relation to Napoleon solo. Panther Insider with Geldy at Dorset Italian Market in Pembroke Pines, 7 to 7:30. Panther Insider. How about those Panthers losing 2 out of 3 on that trip? Huh? Maybe I just had a dream that they did that. Curtis and the Beast, 7:30 to 10 tonight, and Eddie K at 10 o'clock, because we ain't got no ball game. Panthers play the Sharks tomorrow, and then the Leafs right there at the Yenta Center on Thursday. Boy, I better come down for that game, shouldn't I?
Okay.
Panthers and Leafs on Thursday. Then, of course, I'd have to take off on Friday. Just a joke. You think I'm coming all the way down there to go to a hockey game? Are you a crazy person or what?
No, I know better.
Yeah, you are.
Well, yeah, but I know better.
I've made attempts by Senator George Makakowicz Allen of Virginia to turn small sections of a book by our rival Jim Webb into a political issue. Webb, in a speech yesterday, stood by his work and criticized Allen for failing to address controversies that have plagued his own campaign in recent months. Senator Makakowicz. The controversy began last week after the Allen campaign issued a press release describing Webb's book as pornographic and inappropriate. Webb has stood by his work, which has been lauded by conservatives, including John McCain, contending it's a serious work of fiction based upon incidents he witnessed while serving in the Vietnam War. Allen did not participate in Vietnam, of course, like all these other chicken hawks. All the chicken hawks, all the time. But that's all they got to do is smear and schmear. That's their whole game plan. That's the Karl Rove effing way, man. Smear and schmear. 787 on the poll. Oh, there's that Alan, Mrs. What's her name? Mrs. Greenspan.
Where Democrat Jim Peterson is trying to unseat Republican Senator John Kyle. Peterson currently trails Kyle by only 6 points, 47% to 41% in the latest University of Arizona poll. Jim Peterson joins us now. Welcome.
Okay, good. There he is. There's Jim Peterson. You're going to lose, Jim. Sorry. Too bad. Nearly 1 of every 25 weapons the military bought for Iraq security forces is missing. A government audit said yesterday many others can't be repaired because parts of technical manuals are lacking. Parts or technical manuals. Or maybe parts of the manuals. A second report found significant challenges remain that put at risk the U.S.'s military goal of strengthening Iraqi security forces by transferring all logistics operation to the Defense Ministry by the end of next year. A third report concerned the Provincial Reconstruction Team Program, in which U.S. government experts help Iraqis develop regional governmental institutions. The unstable security environment of Iraq touches every aspect of this program, the report said. How do you like that? The Pentagon can't account for 14,000 plus weapons, almost 4% of the semi-automatic pistols, assault rifles, machine guns, rocket-propelled grenade launchers, other weapons it began supplying to Iraq since the end of 2003, according to a report from the Office of the Special Instructor General for Iraq Reconstruction. The missing weapons will not be tracked easily. The Defense Department registered the serial numbers of only about 10,000 of the 370,000 weapons it provided, less than 3%. The Pentagon spent $133 million on the weapons, and the capacity of the Iraqi government to provide national security and public order is partly contingent on arming the Iraqi security forces under the ministers of something and interior. Another just botched job, just money. It's like opening up a faucet, opening up the faucet in your bathtub, and instead of water, money's pouring out. Only it came out of your pocket. How do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
It's a damn good thing that $6.30 that I spent on customs for that package, that fine, mysterious gift that George sent me for my birthday. It's a damn good thing that Uncle Sam didn't get a hold of that.
Who knows?
So we can go out there and kill some more people with it. $6.30. You know how long that would last at Woodbine?
I don't know. Not 30 seconds.
About 10 seconds.
3 seconds.
2 punches on the machine, man, on the wheel of misfortune. Nasty, miserable. Oh, my God. Talk about women. You want to go out there and see some of these ethnic women, you know?
Sorry.
These old European women?
El Paso.
I was having a real good day Saturday, which I did wind up with a good day, but this old Italian woman who once sat down next to me and said, I acknowledged her presence, and that was a bad mistake. Now she's my buddy. And she comes to me on Saturday, and she's got a million questions. She's a real Italian yenta. She wants to know what this one did, and how much did you get, and what did you... And I told her I got 1,000 on the wheel. In fact, 1,000 was still sitting on 1,000 there when she came by, and I pointed up there, and, oh, well, good for you. And she disappears, and like 20 minutes later comes back, and she's got the ticket out of her machine. See, I got 1,000 too. And like who are you? Why do I care? Why do I want to know this? And later she comes back to give me the bad news, and the good news for me, that she lost all of it, and then some, and she's losing her ass. Oh, my goodness, I lost another. And away she went. I don't know her from Mishi Pupik, man. I don't want to know her. I don't want to smell her. Go back to, where the hell you're from. Go back to Bologna with your baloney, honey. Get out of my face. Crazy old bitch. See, that's a bad thing that Woodbine is doing to me, besides fleecing a lot of money out of my pocket, is that it's really changing my attitude about a lot of these ethnic people. Because my trips to Europe, for the most part, have been very pleasant, and most of the people I encounter there as a tourist, as a schmuck, are, very nice and friendly and seem pleasant, and they're not like stereotypical, like these old European old slime balls. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Thank God you don't have anything like that in Florida.
No.
14 past 11 at 560 WQM. That's our sports station time. That's what George Beasley says. Well, we got that sports station in Miami, and we got new guys in there, and they're, I'm going to tell you, Brian Schmutz, he is an abject, he's very disappointing to me. Let me tell you about Brandy's. If you want to take good care of your feet, make sure you got the right fitting and great shoes on them. And Brandy's will make sure of that every time. Brandy's carries all the top names in the floor business like Florsheim, Echo, Mephisto, Rockport, Hush Puppies, and New Balance, and tons of other name brands in all sizes for men and women. They even carry those wide widths and hard-to-find sizes for those of you with funky feet. In fact, Brandy's is the largest independent shoe retailer in all of South Florida. Go in there and see our good buddy Arnie. He'll make sure you get the right fitting shoes for your feet at the right price, too. Brandy Shoes, 1290 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach, between Atlantic and Copans on the east side. You can't miss it. Brandy's is open every day of the week for you, Monday through Saturdays till 9, and even on Sundays till 5. And this week, it's a great time to buy SAS shoes at Brandy's. All great men's and women's styles are on sale, 20, 30, about 30, man. Even 40% off per pair. So save a lot of cash, get your feet all gussied up right at Brandy's this week, or do your shoe shopping on the web at brandysshoes.com.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM. The biggest names, the best talent. It's the Kenny and Bo Morning Show.
Is it ever going to end with UM?
We have 19,000 TVs in here, and 18,999 have all the UM stuff, and we've got the Spanish channel on there.
For I can't. That's the only one I'm watching. You don't have to speak that language to know that language. We call that the language of look at the guns on her. Man, oh man.
Weekdays 7 to 10, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Hurricane blow. Absolutely.
Hey, little page in a high school sweater. Gee, I'd sure like to know you better. I'm a horny Republican. Would you like to date your congressman? Little page. Hey, little page, tell me, are you naked? When you sweat, do you smell like bacon? Do you want to lick my ice cream cone? Tickle my pious Foley bone? Little page. Oh, me like you, little page.
I love it when you type
breathe. 20 past 11 at 560 WQAM, your sports and erotic station, man. The Canes got they lost for the third time this season, man. I think that old Larry Coker, they're going to string his ass up, don't you?
You think?
Oh, yeah. Right there on campus, man. Right there at UM, if you can find the campus. 811 votes on the poll. We'll get to 1,000. Not too much more. Won't be really impressive today because of my late start. Like somebody really cares, right? Speaking of that, new photo show Castro standing and talking. You see this?
No.
Where the hell did George go?
I'm back.
Oh, don't tell me you were out there doing a sequel.
Yes, I was.
Wow.
What an encore it was, too.
I'm jealous.
Light a lighter.
Here's a message for all you people out there that might be using those egg beaters, because I suggested that instead of cholesterol in eggs and get the egg beaters and how they taste so good. Don't do it. The first clue that I had about that was that fork, you know? When I was trying to pry up all of that stuff stuck to my GT Express 101 with a fork, trying to get that all up out of there because it sticks like crazy. And I left the fork in the sink, and then hours later I looked at it, and it was like looking at something in the petrified forest. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It had solidified.
It was solidified on there for life. You couldn't get that off of there. I got the squeegee, and I got all the kitchen stuff. I had to scrape it off of there with a knife. And so if the egg beaters are doing that on my fork, what are they doing in my innards? See what I'm saying?
Binding it up.
Yeah. And, of course, plus, what do you put in omelets if you're like a cheese person like me? You put a lot of cheese in there, right?
You betcha.
I get that shredded ass, Iago cheese. You ever see a shredded ass, Iago?
Not lately.
At any rate, I put that in there, and I got like to slice up a little Swiss cheese. I love maybe even sprinkle some Parmesan in there, as Mr. Ego would say. So between the egg beaters and the cheese, man, talk about binding up your system. Wow.
So you're saying you can beat it with a fork?
Photographs of Fidel Castro standing and talking on the phone were published yesterday in Cuba's state-run media, a day after the ailing leader appeared in a video to dispel rumors he was on his deathbed. He's still alive. That's the bad news. The communist youth newspaper, Juventud Rebelde.
Juventud.
How do you say it? Juventud. What?
Juventud.
Juventud Rebelde.
Means youth.
No.
Wait.
Dedicated its front page to the Cuban president, printing a blown-up picture of a pensive Castro with the title, Always Fighting for Something and Fighting with Optimism. He's got like a kind of a smirk on his puss. The 80-year-old Cuban leader, who temporarily ceded power to his brother Raul in July, following intestinal surgery, hadn't been seen since mid-September, with photos of him receiving world leaders at a summit in Havana were released. The latest photos apparently were taken during the filming of a video broadcast Saturday in which Castro, looking thin and tired, was shown walking slowly but steadily in an unidentified room and reading in a loud voice from Saturday's edition of Grandma, the Communist Party daily newspaper. Did somebody tell him that communism went out with the knickers and white buck shoes? They've declared me moribund prematurely, he said, but it pleases me to send my compatriots and friends this small video. He said his recovery would be prolonged and not without risk, but added that he was making good progress. I'm coming along just as planned. I feel whole, he said. I'm not the least bit afraid of what will occur. He called rumors of his death ridiculous and insulting, claiming they're the work of his enemies. Let's see what they say now, he said, as he fumbled around. Castro, dressed in a red, white, and blue tracksuit, said he was trying to help those currently in charge of government as much as he could while he recovers. I participated in the most important decisions with my comrades from the leadership of the Communist Party and the government, he said. I do everything possible to support my comrades and be useful. The rumors motivate me to work and to fight, he said. Well, whoopee-doo. The Cuban government has treated Castro's ailment as a state secret, and rumors that he may have died,
I think he's dead,
have intensified in recent weeks. He hasn't made a public appearance since July 26th, a few days before he underwent surgery. Maybe these pictures of the Castro are like a stunt Castro, like some of those of Bin Laden, that fat Bin Laden video, remember that?
Yeah.
This is the stunt Castro. Do you remember we had the stunt Sodoms there in the early days of the
Everyone
Iraq
had
War?
a double, apparently.
Yeah. He had doubles and triples and quadruples. Just like those guys that were eating all them Crystal burgers. Did you hear that bit at the end of the Kenny and Bo morning show?
Yeah.
No, sorry. This is excellent news for everyone, all Cubans and all Cubans' friends, Vice President Carlos Lage said. We are really happy to see Fidel is better, and every day he's moving forward, Foreign Minister Felipe Perez Roque said. He's not been lost, just working on his recovery plan. Right. Bury his ass. The video shown Saturday came a day after Castro's close friend and ally Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez said the Cuban leader was walking and taking trips at night into the countryside. Just kind of wandering out the door, like the Chief and Jack Nicholson were going to do, McMurphy. Remember that? Only Mac didn't make it. He had a little pillow problem. Bolivian President Evo Morales said Saturday that Castro would return to office in 2 or 3 weeks. A top Cuban official previously said he expected Castro back at the helm by December, when the country plans to hold a belated birthday celebration for a leader who turned 80 August 13. When's America going to hold a birthday celebration for yours truly, huh? It's all right, I already got my gift.
Don't eat no cake either.
What do you mean by that?
Make a meatloaf or something and stick a candle in it.
That sounds good. In fact, on the infomercial for the GT Express, one of the things she makes is a meatloaf sandwich.
All right, but without the bread.
Yeah, where she takes she butters, she has like garlic butter.
Sure.
And she butters the 2 slices of bread and puts them in like one upside down and one right side up.
And don't be using no breadcrumbs when you make the meatloaf either.
Oh, I hate that. If I'm eating meatloaf or meatballs, I don't want like no hidden carbs in there. I don't want meat.
They always do that after.
Yeah, I know that.
Filler, or I don't know.
Yeah, quit tefillin, okay? Quit tefillin. Wrap those tefillin around your arms until you turn blue and then get lost. 828 votes on the poll. Pretty damn impressive, if you ask me, considering the late start we got. 26 after 11. Don't forget the Mad Dog is back today from a couple of days off. Where the hell did he go, and who gave him permission and stuff like that? Is there anybody running the place now, or is it like just off on automatic pilot?
I saw all of our management team.
Including Chris Jones?
No.
Including that sales mangler Chris Jones who comes in here and lies through it, just lies with that southern drawl, lie. That's okay, though. He's goosed up that billing, man. We got spots up the old earlobe. We got spots all over the place. We got spots on our nose, spots on our ass, everywhere.
We're just spotty.
Like leopards. Let me tell you right now, today and tomorrow, the last days of October, which means you better get into Lou Backroad if you want to take advantage of their fantastic deals they're pumping out during their race to 1,000. That's right, Lou Backroad is out to sell 1,000 cars this month, and in order to do that, they're staying open until midnight every night to reach that 1,000 number. Forget about price. Make them an offer, and they'll beat any deal, so you're going to save a ton of cash. They give you lots more money for your trade, 0% financing, rebates of up to $6,000, whatever it takes to make you a deal and get your ass into a great new vehicle. Only at Lou Backroad Chevrolet with 2 locations for you. In Pompano Beach, a quarter mile west of I-95, look for that huge American flag. And in Coconut Creek on 441, just south of the Sawgrass Expressway. How'd that thing at Lou Backroad go yesterday, Josh? Well, don't forget, they're staying open until midnight every night, so go to Lou Backroad right now and get the best deal on a new Chevy you could ever dream of as you help them race to 1,000 for the first time in Lou Backroad history. I've been buying my cars there for years, and believe you me, you can't beat them when it comes to service and when it comes to selection and price as well. Check them out on the wicked web at LouBackroad.com, B-A-C-H-R-O-D-T, LouBackroad.com.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
I'm a horny fat faggot.
All right.
I think this new government might be a waste of time. Bush thinks that will fix things up. Sure out of his mind, yeah. There'll still be chaos over there. There'll still be bullets in your hair. I don't want to hear from Bush that he's restoring peace. How will we know we succeeded with that new democracy? I guess we'll know we've succeeded when you see more Mickey D's. McDonald's.
Once you saw that the fat fingers of Henry Kissinger were involved in this mess, then you knew we were in big trouble, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
As if we needed to see that. Tell us.
The piece in my head.
A man is expected to appear in federal court today after he had to be handcuffed when authorities say he threatened the flight crew last night on a plane that took off in Boston and had to make an emergency landing in Orlando. Nobody was hurt, but the flight crew had to wrestle the man and bind his hands with plastic ties until the Fort Lauderdale-bound plane could land, according to JetBlue spokesman Todd Burke. Agents from the FBI arrested the man on a flight interference charge when the plane landed in Orlando. It was headed for Fort Lauderdale. What does that tell you? There doesn't appear any discernible tie to terrorism, said FBI Special Agent Kevin Farrington. I wonder if he was kin to Bob Farrington or Rick Farrington or that ganze Mishpacha. The man started yelling at the flight crew and other passengers, and then it went from a verbal confrontation and became physical, Farrington said. Remember I mentioned that last week, Rambling Willie and Bob Farrington. Remember that?
Yep.
And you said, oh, yeah, I bet on that race. Authorities wouldn't release the man's name or hometown until he appears in federal district court in Orlando sometime today. Farrington would only say the man was in his 40s and was crazier than a bedbug. Flight 457 was an Airbus A320 that took off from Logan International at 4:25 p.m. on Sunday, fully loaded with 156 passengers. It was diverted to Orlando about 7:30 p.m. and continued down to Fort Lauderdale, finally touching down at 11:20 p.m. It left at 4:25, and it took them almost 7 hours to get to frickin' Fort Lauderdale from Boston because of this jackass. Officials would not describe the confrontation between the man and the crew. Obviously, if we have to restrain a customer, it's pretty serious stuff, Burke said. Our flight attendants did, by all accounts, an amazing job. A crazy person headed for Fort Lauderdale. How unusual. Wonder if it's anybody we know.
I mean, coming home?
Hi! Not that there's any crazy people in South Florida, you understand.
No.
847 votes on that poll, man. It's kind of a disappointing number after those big fat-ass numbers we threw in there last week on Wednesday and Friday. Remember that? Over 1,500 during the show?
Oh, well.
Remember that?
Yeah.
God. I bet you that Joe Bell was in there just dancing like Rumpelstiltskin, hopping up and down. Oh, my God, look, you guys are kicking big smelly ass. Too bad we're not doing the same during most of our sports segments. Oh, I'm sorry. But aren't we a sports station?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, there's that idiot Spencer from New York. He's got about as much chance of winning as Spencer the car wash guy.
And he's
against Swillery.
He's talking about people's looks.
Politics that because a reporter.
What happened to him?
A reporter.
Good God!
And I said nothing of the like.
Looks like a prune on a bad day. Looks like a
all
prune
those
on a
craters.
dry day in the desert. Crater
Looks
puss.
like somebody ran over his face.
Yeah, with a Mack truck. Anyway. Well, what difference does it make, okay? I mean, she's the ice princess. She's a nasty old bitch, and he ain't got no chance. 848 votes. What's the worst thing about women? Like Hillary, for example. Mood swings, 171. When you least expect it.
What's wrong with you?
You know, out of nowhere. Non-stop bitching, 155. Nagging, 104. Oh, nagging is moving up nicely now that we both said we voted for that, and rightfully so.
Did you put your galoshes on? Did you do this? Did you do... How come you did that? Why did you...
Oh, brother.
You're driving too fast.
They never say what they mean, 103. Unrealistic expectations, 96. When they get saggy and sloppy, 71. You know when they get to be like about 30?
Mm-hmm.
I hate this pool, 69, 8.1%. Much too high. I'm pissed off about that. Nothing, they're all great, 27. All women are great. Never met your mother or mine, I guess.
Right.
No sense of humor, 23. They never forget, 19. And rush to commitment, 10. After the first glance, they want a ring. They want a ring, they want a Cadillac, they want all your credit cards, and all of these things. 854. We got the 1,000 look. Just relax. Don't get all whipped up about it, Josh, just because your team lost again yesterday. Man, I shouldn't have said again. They actually were starting to make a little bit of a run there last week.
Well, by winning the game?
They won a game. They pulled it right out of their ass right there at the end with that field goal, right? And a shocking victory last week. Although, big deal. Didn't the Eagles lose to some girls' team yesterday? Who'd they lose to? They lost.
I know they lost, yeah.
Jacksonville.
That's right.
Oh, my God. Mediocrity, baby. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the NFL. I'm not saying I don't enjoy my football, but, boy, it is so mediocre. And don't tell me the Canes lost to Georgia Tech, the rambling wreck from Georgia Tech on Saturday. Because I wouldn't believe it, although I did see the end of the game. I tell you, when that kid fumbled a punt, I was just squeezing myself. I was so excited. Oh, yeah. That was the end of the game, baby. All over for the Canes. They suck. I think Donna Shillelagh, she ought to be taken out and tarred and feathered for that loss, don't you?
Yes.
Because it's not a institution of learning, of higher learning, lower learning, intermediate learning. It's a football university now. That's what it's become, thanks to Jimmy Johnson and a bunch of other maniacs. I think the next Saban era may be nearing a close if the Dolphins get... now, the Bears pounded the crap out of very weak San Francisco yesterday, about 182-10 or something like that.
Right, 41, same thing.
Yeah. And that being the case, although the 49ers really suck, but nevertheless, the Dolphins, of course, suck real bad, too. So one can only expect, the game being right there in Chicago next week, that the Dolphins are going to get walloped. I'm thinking 63-0 sounds like a reasonable score to me. Oh, and didn't one of Mad Dog's teammates die from the 72 Dolphin team?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll talk about it. It wasn't anybody I ever heard of before. Some football player died. And Red Auerbach died. Anybody remember Red?
No.
I remember one time when I was a kid, my father took me to see a Rochester Royals Boston Celtics game. Les Harrison, he was the bald coach of I guess you have to be bald to be a coach in the NBA back in those days. He was the bald Royals coach, and Red Auerbach, of course, was the Celtics coach. and they got into a big argument with the referee about something. Man, they were screaming and yelling and carrying on. The two of them, it was you could see the veins popping in their foreheads. It was great. There's a lesson for you, okay? Don't be drinking a lot of booze, and don't be smoking those big fat stogies every day, or you'll only live to like 89 like Weinstein, Churchill, and Red Auerbach. I don't think I ever seen Red Auerbach without a big stogie in his mouth. Did you, George?
What?
Now, how about Weinstein, Churchill? Look up and see how old he was when he croaked. Do a little Google on that, please.
Okay.
I got a couple of anti-Walmart stories today. That's just for George. Oh, and speaking of Babs, speaking of people that look really grotesque and are aging badly. Woo! She's the diva of divas, but Barbara Streisand apparently slipped in and out of a trendy Los Olas Boulevard restaurant in Fort Lauderdale Saturday night with hardly anyone noticing. Probably a couple of people were like poking each other in the ribs. Who's that old bag?
No, there would have been a panic, people running, screaming.
Otelia Amarandi.
You're what?
In marketing, is like I'm a dandy. Remember Jim Dandy? Jim Dandy, the rescue who did that. Laverne Baker did Jim Dandy. I bet you got that. Job approval, your president, 37%, 53% disapprove. Oh, he's up 4% in Newsweek. Yeah, likely story. Anyway, a marketing manager at Johnny V confirmed Streisand's visit, but kept the details hush-hush. She said the singer didn't want to attract attention, especially with that face and that fat ass. But Saturday night, while performing at the sold-out Bank Atlantic Yenta Center in Sunrise. Oh, did you guys see that?
Huh?
The performer, 64. Oh, God, if I look like that when I'm 64 on Sunday, I'm going to jump out the window. I don't look all that good at 63, but if I wind up looking like that. Belted out the restaurant's praises, and by Sunday afternoon, diners flocked to Johnny V for corn-crusted calamari on Streisand's recommendation. How do you like that? Streisand performs again tonight. Ticket prices run from $102.75 to $752.75. I wouldn't give you the 75-cent part. I wouldn't give you the 30 cent from the $6.30 Canadian that I paid for the customs on that package. I wouldn't walk across the street to see her unless I could, yell obscenities at her. You fat, no-talent bitch. God, can you believe that? Tickets run from $102.75 to $752.75. Can you imagine anybody in their right mind, in its right mind, paying that to see that old bitch?
No.
Can she act?
No.
Can she really sing worth a crap?
No.
Does she look good?
No.
Is she hot?
No.
Hot. She's about as hot as the North Pole, ain't she? She's nasty. One nasty bitch. But anyway, to Johnny V. You ever heard of it?
Who?
Everybody go to Johnny V's in Fort Lauderdale. Tried the calamari, or whatever the hell she had. 872 votes on the poll. Let me tell you again about Dry Concepts. I've been talking about them and using them in my home for over 21 years now. I wouldn't trust anybody else with my carpets, and if you have a brain, you shouldn't either. Because they dry clean your carpets, they get out the dirt way down there deep in the fibers of your carpet, which makes your carpets smell lemony fresh, look and feel just like brand new, stay cleaner longer, and last longer too. And, of course, your carpets are dry in just a couple of hours, so you really can clean today, entertain tonight when you call Dry Concepts. Whether it's your expensive area rugs, your oriental rugs, your drapery, furniture, or your carpeting, these are the people who do a spectacular job for you every time. And now they've got a plan to make frequent cleaning easy. It's just a fraction of the cost of regular cleaning, too. You'll never have a dirty carpet again if you call Dry Concepts, and they give you a written guaranteed price up front before they start doing their unbeatable, fabulous job. In Broward, call Dry Concepts at 954-370-7778. That's 954-370-7778. In Dayton, Palm Beach, call them toll-free, 1-800-248-5071. That's 1-800-248-5071. Be sure and tell them that Hank Guerrero sent you by when you call our good friends at Dry Concepts.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
And they look like women.
1, 2, 3, 4, more bombs drop. 5, 6, 7, 8, more bombs drop. 9, 10, 11, 12, more bombs drop. We're going to drop the bombs around the clock. We're going to drop them bombs and make them dead. Blow that drag right off their heads. We're going to bomb around the clock tonight. We're going to bomb, 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 knock out their lights. We're going to bomb around the clock tonight. Here's a real gun bomb, so have a blast. We're gonna shove that all up your ass. We're clock tonight. We're gonna bomb, knock out their lights. We're gonna bomb around the clock tonight.
All right.
They stopped the boys.
Kill some people.
There you go. It's a hobby. 12 minutes till noon. It's 560 WQM. Mad Dog is back today. He'll be on at 2 o'clock. And he'll be teaming up with the Humper between 4 and 5. And then Humper Solo 5 to 7. We got the Panther Insider with Geldy. That should have a big tune-in audience. From Dorset, Tanya Market, and Pembroke Pines at 7 to 7:30. And then Curtis at the B, 7:30 to 10, followed by the World Flaming Eddie Kaplan Show. That's our lineup. No games. We got no Marlin games. We got no Panther game. Panthers and the Sharks tomorrow. Panthers and the Leafs at the Yenta Center on Thursday. Be a lot of Leaf fans here for that game. Trust me when I tell you. 887 votes on the poll. I'm sure George has whipped him about doing some more hockey shows with your close personal friend Rimmer.
I'll call him right up.
Yeah, call him right up there and tell him to spread some rumors about how my father died again. Giving Walmart environmental award is obscene, writes Janet Streeter Porter in the Seattle Post-Intelligencer. She writes for the British Independent, by the way. This is a syndicated column. She writes for the Independent, a great newspaper in Britain, no less. It's a good thing they got a great newspaper. Has the world gone mad? Janet wants to know. In New York last week, the supermarket chain Walmart received an award for its contribution to the environment from the Hollywood filmmakers Bob and Harvey Weinstein. It is true that a year ago, Walmart reacted to criticism that focused on a range of issues, from their employees' pay and conditions to the devastating effect they have had on town centers across America, by announcing a raft of environmentally themed initiatives. Walmart announced they'd reduce energy use in their stores by 30%.
About 30, man.
Over 3 years, use more fuel-efficient trucks, cut down on packaging, and recycle carrier bags. But hold on a minute. By building vast warehouses, carrying a huge range of stock and slashing prices, which inevitably lead to smaller retail competitors going out of business, and by concreting over thousands of acres of countryside in order to provide car parking around their air-conditioned mammoth warehouses, these measures seem like pitiful window dressing. Walmart's ruthless expansion has already played havoc with the planet in all sorts of ways that renders gestures such as changing the kind of light bulbs they plug in and encouraging us to take our own receptacles for our shopping totally meaningless. Walmart does not generally build up relationships with local growers and suppliers, reducing carbon emissions in the process, because it's committed to bringing produce to its stores thousands of miles by road and air. It sells cheap goods and clothing made in third world countries where wages are low and environmental concerns are secondary to production cost. The Weinsteins, who are Democrats, should be ashamed of sucking up to a monolith that has close ties to the Republican Party. The real reason for their bizarre decision to present Walmart this award is because the retailer shifts 40% of all DVDs sold in the U.S., and the Weinsteins are to produce a series of films. I think that shifts 40%, is that the word we're looking for?
Ships.
Yeah, I think it should be shifts, but it says shifts. And the Weinsteins had to produce a series of films for the family market, which would be sold only on DVD, rather than shown at the box orifice. So much for ethical value, says Janet. The idea of nominating any supermarket chain for an environmental award is ludicrous unless they're compelled to build all customer parking under or over their stores, thus limiting the size of their footprint. In other words, Walmart is like Bigfoot. Until they can demonstrate that a sizable proportion of the goods on sale come from within a defined region or locality, until they remove all packaging other than that which is biodegradable, then there's no case to answer. Supermarkets hold considerable retailing power, which could be used to educate customers who are exercising more concern for their environment. Surprisingly, it is consumers who have taken the lead in demanding organic food and environmentally friendly products, not the retailers. Stores could, for example, insist that all their cheap clothing was made using fair trade fabrics and in conditions where workers are properly paid and cared for, but they don't. The bottom line is the balance sheet and profit for their shareholders. A report published last week shows that resources are being used 25% faster than the planet can renew them. Giving an environmental award to Walmart is an obscenity, to which I would say,
absolutely correct.
Janet. How do you like that?
Yeah, man.
Environmental award my ass. And that's a big award, man, a big-ass award. Oh, we are almost to 900 on the poll. I think we got 1,000 licked by 1 o'clock. And then after that, it's all gravy. Hop on that gravy train, man. Tomorrow's Halloween. The only thing wrong with Halloween is that everybody eats all that candy and gets sick to their stomach.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to be if you want to be nice to the kids that come knocking on the door, instead of giving them a bunch of candy bars, put something good in there, like some of the little boxes of cereal with all that sugar in it.
Okay.
Well, no, I mean, so a lot of holidays have good food, okay? Mm-hmm. Halloween is not one of them.
No, I just can't.
Like the poll we took the other day, Halloween is fun, and, it's for kids. You know what I'll give them?
What?
Some of that Turkish taffy.
Oh,
that'll pull their teeth
fillings out, yeah.
Yeah, pull all the fillings out and rot their teeth. Dentists will like you a lot. They'll come to your house and leave you a check.
I got a Mary Jane here. leftover.
Well, I love those, man. I haven't had one of those in years.
Oh, I'll mail it to you. What are the
Little
customs
Mary
on this
Janes
going to
in
be?
yellow wrappers. Oh, God. Where the hell do you find those? We don't have the Mary Jane.
Found it laying around
you're
here
not
like
talking about Mary Jane candy bars, man. Candies. You're talking about Mary Jane that you're putting in your big fat bong there.
No, this is the Mary Jane candy.
Yeah, the only Mary Jane you know. Where the hell?
Here it is.
Where the hell would you find that? Do they even make those anymore?
Remember when we were talking about all that candy? Somebody brought some in, like a grab bag.
Who brought it in?
I don't know. Somebody. It's made by Necco. I'm reading the label
How about
over here.
Necco wafers? Have you had any of those in a long time? I do love Necco wafers. They're not really very good, but for some reason they're, because they're pure sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And so you take the roll of Necco wafers and you start eating one or two, and then I can't stand the black ones.
I threw it away. It was sticky.
God. What?
I threw that candy thing away. It was sticky. Like on
What,
the
Mary
outside.
Jane?
Yeah, it was like melting.
Well, don't you remember I told you about that when we did that show, and I think I saved that crap in my pile here. I didn't save too much. I threw out a whole bunch of stuff that's ancient, almost as ancient as I am.
My fingers are sticky, and not in a good way.
Yeah, that's bad. I told you Josh was going to come in there and give you a kiss. I didn't tell you to get that carried away. I think I threw that away. I Schmidt canned it, because I can find it again. But I tried to tell you that last week, that when we did that thing about the best candy of all time, and I found that website where you can order all your favorite candy, even if it's not made anymore.
Okay.
And we had, wasn't it the Chicken X? Somebody complained about the fact that they bought some for somebody, and it was spoiled. It was older than the hills. It was older than
I
Methuselah's
forget
grandma.
who told me that, but yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So the fact you got a Mary Jane there, it's probably. I think they still make them, no?
I don't know.
I'm gonna.
I don't need to know.
I'm googling it. And what is that in the inside of those? Is it like maple syrup or something? What's in the center?
Sure. Tastes mapley.
No, seriously.
Maybe it's nougat.
Mmm. Oh, Mary Jane, the comic. I don't want. Oh, jeez, I hate this. Okay, I'm Googling. Oh, here you go. Mary Jane's candy weight as a kid ? And there's pictures of them, and they got the yellow wrapper, the little red thing around them.
Yeah, just threw it away.
Oh, no. Little bite-sized peanut butter and molasses. That's what it is in there. You don't know your asses, Mr. Molasses.
Molasses is nasty.
A box of 160 is $9.99. Oh, this must be that website. OldTimeCandy.com.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. A box of 160 is $9.99. Case of 12 6-ounce bags is $14.99. Well, that's what I need. I need that like as they say in Sweden, a Lockenkopf. Like a hole in the head. Mary Jane's Candy Memories. I remember when I was very young, it says we lived way out in the sticks in South Carolina. We were extremely poor, and on our birthdays, we rarely received any gifts or cake. I do remember that there was a little country store we had to walk to. The little store was run by an elderly couple. I only remember calling them Mr. and Mrs. Gray. My memory is so clear now that Mr. and Mrs. Gray always gave us kids a small penny bag full of Mary Janes. Oh, man. By the time we shared...
Later on it was a dime bag.
Huh? Yeah, dime bag of Mary Jane. That's what George wants for his birthday.
Sure.
So that's what I'm going to send you this year. Instead of a check, I'm going to send you like a bag of Mary Janes.
Asking for that. How about a brick of hash?
Weinstein Churchill, by the way, for all you people smoking on big stogies out there, he only lived to 90.
Yeah, I found that out, but, you went on to other things.
I went on to another rant. Well, you started with that Mary Jane. You know how hard it is. Last week you were talking me onto ice cream, which I resisted. I kept my honor.
Oh. Finally finished off
if
that.
If I could find that Kit Kat ice cream. I told you, I got that at Fallsview, Niagara Falls, at the ice cream shop in a casino there. Man, that was good. And it's bizarre because I don't like Kit Kat candy bars at all. Not in the least bit. Oh, fat, phooey. I might have to go over to Dominion a little later on, like after the show, and find me a half a gallon of Kit Kat ice cream if they got it. And then maybe some Mary Janes. Now, you tell me they still sell those or what?
I don't know.
No way. Get out of here. You're a crazy person,
came from
man.
somewhere. They must.
What?
They must still sell them.
Well, during the break, I'm going to research it, okay?
Don't.
No, after the show, I'm going to have some of that low-carb pasta.
There you go.
You know, the people who are paying us all that money to promote it. Oh.
Get yourself back on track.
Right. 915 votes on the poll, man. What's the worst thing about women and men? It's not an easy choice.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
This is Mark Morgan. It's the 12 to 1 hour on QAM.
The father of a 1-year-old Malawian boy, reportedly adopted by Madonna, says he's happy his son is escaping poverty. Local officials say the pop star plans to adopt the child while she's in the country, visiting a project that she funds for AIDS orphans. Relatives say the star and her husband Guy Ritchie are to adopt David Banda.
Maybe there has been confusion with the name Donna. Donna is colloquial for rich woman, and Madonna, the star.
I still have things I want to do and things I want to say. And, you know, if people want to hear it, then that's great.
Went to Malawi the other night. The material girl, she wants a kid who's from another nation. Her and Guy felt that it was right, since Brad and Angelina went and gave them inspiration.
I've always felt that my kids are around the world.
They arrived just the other day, shopping for a kid and spending money like on vacation. Guy turned to her as if to say, hey, there's one, he's waiting just for you.
It does appear that one of the world's richest superstars has adopted a 13-month-old boy.
They make a lot and on a plane they flew. Little baby said, Mama, you know I'm crazy for you. About the boy down in
Oh, look at that. Catherine Harris is only 26 points behind Bill Nelson. It's getting tight.
She can do it.
Yeah. Stick it, Catherine, you bitch. We hate you like poison and wish that the plane would crash with you on it. Anyway, it's 12:03. That's our QM Sports Time. You know who I really love, and you're the one that inspired me to look this up? I love Necco.
Okay.
I never knew it till this moment. It says Necco is New England Confectionery Company. That's what that stands for.
How do you
but
like
you didn't know that.
Did not.
Dates its start back to the summer of 1847. It's the oldest multi-line candy company in the USA. Necco, new corporate world headquarters in Revere, Mass., manufactures timeless candy classics such as Necco wafers, Sweethearts, Conversation Hearts, Mary Jane, Clark bars. Oh, my favorite! Mighty Malts, Haviland, Thin Mints, and Candy House candy buttons. Clark bars are my favorite. Oh, what I wouldn't give for like a box full of Clark bars. And you can get them, of course.
Yeah, but don't.
No, I will not. Anyway, this oldtimecandy.com, which is what started the whole candy thing. And as I recall, the audience didn't like that thing at all. I thought it was fun. That's why they didn't like it. But oldtimecandy.com, they've got a kosher candy list.
Oi!
Click on the candy name for pictures, package size, and pricing. Where they're trying to peddle. What I don't understand is, where the hell did they get it from? In other words, if there's a candy on this list that hasn't been manufactured since Jesus was a baby, where the hell did they get it from? And how come it isn't like older, you know what I mean, all spoiled and rotten like that Mary Jane you threw it away?
I threw it away. It was sticky on the outside. I've been here for like a month or 6.
Yeah, if it's sticky on the outside, man, run like hell. And the candy, too. These are all kosher candies. So maybe you could have these on Pesach, huh? Would I make them Pesach-icky candies? I don't even know what the hell that is. I'm so tired of all this crap.
I'm not.
$100,000. And then it tells you the kosher status, like Circle U, KSA Parv, the markings on the package that make so you know for damn sure that it's, yeah.
What does FU stand for?
Stands for Shut Up and Keep Eating. Three Musketeers, Fifth Avenue. Oh, I haven't had one of those in a long time. Abba Zaba. Annis Squares, or is that Anus? Baby Ruth. Remember that song, A Rose and the Baby Ruth by George Hamilton IV? On ABC Paramount Records. I remember like it was just yesterday, and then I always thought that this George Hamilton, who can't act his way out of a paper sack, I thought that was George Hamilton IV, but it's not. You know George Hamilton? He was in Godfather 3?
Yeah.
He played the consigliere.
I don't have that song, by the way.
What's that?
Baby Ruth song you're talking about.
Anyway, Banana Split. Big Bruiser Jawbreaker. Oh, God, did I love those Jawbreakers. The ones that were real hot. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
By the time you got to the middle, it like burned your tongue out.
It burns.
Ooh. Bit of Honey. That's one of my favorites. Black that's made by Nestle, Bit of Honey. That's a surprise because Nestle generally sucks. Black Licorice Dollars. I don't know what the hell that is. Bob's Sweet Stripes Mint Sticks. Butterfinger. Oh, Nestle makes those. I love Nestle. Don't you love Butterfinger?
I love Butterfinger. I had some yesterday.
Get out of here.
I had 2.
Chico
They were
Stick.
little.
Chocolate Babies. Oh, we've seen too many of those. Chuckles. Chuckles is those squares, those are awful. Chunky.
I like Chunky.
Double Bubble Gum. Good and Plenty. Good and Plenty, that's crap.
I love
Hershey's
Good and Plenty.
Kisses. Good and Plenty you get at the movie theater, man.
Yeah, I'll
crap.
take your portion. I like licorice.
Hershey's, I don't like licorice. Hershey's Kisses. Hershey's Milk Chocolate Bar. Honeycomb Peanuts. It's a boy bulk hard candy. Jujubes. Oh, you start with that
Boy.
juice stuff again. Well, that figures to be kosher. Juji fruits. Kit Kat. Oh, man, how about a Schmidt Cat? Laffy Taffy, Licorice Babies. This list goes on for M&M Peanut, M&M Plain, Milk Duds, Milky Way, Mint Julep, Nestle's. Oh, God, what kind of a fool goes out and buys a Nestle's chocolate bar? How many years since you bought one of those? I hope a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
Oh, I mean, Hershey bars are nothing to write home about except the new ones with the almonds and the toffee in them. But Nestle.
I like Butterfinger if I'm going to have a bar.
Nonpareils. What do you mean you're going to have a bar?
If I'm going to have a candy bar, it's going to be a Butterfinger, yeah.
Oh, don't drop it. Don't be a...
It'll break.
Oh, Henry. Payday, Peanut Brittle, Planters Peanut Bar, Red Raspberry Dollars, Red Vines Black Licorice Bars and Licorice Twist, Red Vines Original Red Bars and Red Twist, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. I hate Reese's Pieces. Rolo. Oh, you know what's not too bad? Rolo ice cream.
Okay.
Got big chunks of Rolo candy in it.
Reese's Pieces have no chocolate in it that I can find.
Really?
It's just peanut butter coated with candy.
Oh, I hate peanut butter. Root beer barrels. I like those. And floats. Licorice Scotty Dogs, Red Vines, Black Licorice and Strawberry, Saltwater Taffy, Sixlets, Sky Bar, Snickers, Snow Cap, Sour Fruit Balls, Squirrel Nut Zippers. Oh, I didn't know squirrels had zippers on their nuts. Stick Candy, Super Ropes, Walnuttos, whatchamacallit, Whoppers, Zagnut, and Zero. Those are the kosher candy bars, according to Old Time Candy Dog. Why did you get me started on this again?
Because I'm sick.
And what was that Rogers candy that somebody ordered online? Remember I told you how good it was?
Yeah.
Remember that? What the hell was that? I'm going to Google it in the next break.
The peanut brittle. Peanut brittle.
No, it was what?
It was peanut brittle.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it was like chocolate on the outside. It's crunchy. I'm obsessed with that. Like toffee on the inside. Mm-hmm. I'm just addicted to that. Well, anything with sugar in it, I'm addicted to. I don't care what anybody says, man. There is nothing more addictive. I don't care whether it's heroin, whether it's you name it.
Right.
There's nothing on the planet that is more addictive. Just take a look at what's his name's arm there.
What's his name's arm?
Jared Leto's arm.
Jared Leto. Wow.
That purple arm. And think about that. And then think about sugar. Think about this crap we've just been talking about and how you can't eat only one.
Right.
See, if I go into the store and I'm going to get a candy bar, I'll get 3.
Oh, there's no doubt you're addicted to sugar.
Yeah. I am. I can't stop. If I eat one, it's like Krispy Kreme donuts. I can't eat one. I got to have 3. I don't know what the hell that's all about. I can just tell you.
I can't stop.
Right. There it is, a Rose and a Baby Ruth. I love it.
We had a quarrel.
Quarrel?
A teenage quarrel.
Oh. Quarrel.
Now I'm as blue as I know how to be.
Yeah, I think blue is the word for him, but in the past tense. Okay, that's enough. 944 votes on the poll. Let's get off that candy real fast, off that candy Zagnut. Those are pretty good, Zagnut. I haven't had one of those in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You started me with that Mary Jane. You're the one that started. And didn't he, Josh? He started with a Mary Jane?
Yes, he did.
Bastard.
You're going to die up there.
First, he sends me a birthday gift, which was a nice gesture. And then, of course, I had to pay $6.30 to go down and get it paying customs. I can handle it. Don't worry. It was well worth it.
There must be a way.
I'll deduct it from your birthday check.
Okay.
But then he turns around and goes to show you he don't even want me to live till Sunday because I know the scam you're playing here. Hoping I croak tomorrow so you can take over the show because they already told me
that's
when
my
I
big
croak,
plan. Sure.
It's the Neil Rogers show starring George Rodriguez.
I'm not
Look
the one
at the
going to
great
be
job
throwing
you
a
did
party
this
when
summer,
you
for Christ's sakes. We kicked ass. Why do you always say that?
Say what?
I'm not saying you're some great, brilliant talk show host, but you're,
This is way easier than doing the show every day. Letting you do it, just throwing in a chuckle here and there.
Yeah. Oh, chuckles. See, he won't stop. Your wife is right. You're a relentless bastard. You won't stop, and you deserve everything evil that happens to you, okay?
Probably.
Next time you have a really nasty BM, it's going to be because of this day today with a Mary Jane. And Mary Janes are like, you do buy those in a sack, in a bag.
Do you? Well, mine's in the sack.
And you keep eating them and eating them and eating them and opening up them little... And then all you got left are a bunch of them little yellow with the little red ribbon thing on it wrappers.
Uh-huh.
You ever see them little yellow wrappers? They're Chinese.
Yo.
12 minutes past noon at 5:60. That's our QAM sports time, man. Send us some money. The Beasleys are off tourist, man, and everything is way down. Things are bad, especially because of that crap they're playing over on Power 96. Who's in charge of that joint now?
It's hard to tell.
I think a big shakeup and a lot of changes coming up. Well, Joe Bell is he's in charge of that. He's the head honcho.
Ultimately, yes.
Well, no wonder. Let me tell you again, for the umpteenth time that I've been doing business with my good friends Lou Backroad Chevy and Greg Nelson over there for over 20 years. I bought a zillion Corvettes from them, including the 2 fabulous Corvettes I have right now. Maybe you guys would like to drive them someday. No chance. And they've always given me the best price, the best service. They've taken great care of me, and you can get that same spectacular treatment at Lou Back Road Chevrolet. 2 locations for you. They're in Pompano Beach, a quarter mile west of I-95, and in Coconut Creek on 441, just south of the Sawgrass. Don't forget, only 2 days left in October, today and tomorrow. And Lou Back Road is out to sell 1,000 cars this month, and they're staying open until midnight every night to get to that 1,000 number. So you go in there today or tomorrow and get yourself an unbeatable deal on one of those hot new Vets, truck, SUV, minivan, and of course they've got a zillion great used cars too, starting at just $39.95, everyone backed by a Carfax guarantee. Forget about price. Make them any kind of an offer. They'll beat any deal. They give you lots more money for your trade. They offer you 0% financing, rebates of up to $6,000, whatever it takes to get them to their goal. And don't forget, they're staying open until midnight tonight and tomorrow night. So go to Lou Back Road Chevrolet and get the best deal on new Chevy in the history of your life. Or check them on the web at Lou Backroad, BACHRODT, LouBackroad.com.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 Solid AM.
Know that the Lord even loves Neil Rogers.
I'm Casey Kissam coming to you live from Hollywood with another edition of America's Bottom 40. Brought to you by the Oxy 5 Company's newest acne medication, Oxymoron 5, for pimple-free teenagers. And so it goes. Have to be a little quicker on the tape, boys.
That's a good joke.
We've got the worst songs in America, and we're counting them down. Record stores are selling them. For some unknown reason, you're buying them, and I'm using them as coasters. First, let's review the top 3 songs on the charts. At number 3, Guns N' Roses is singing Sweet Child of Mine. Well, if I had a child around the house today, I'd have these 4 words for lead guitarist Slash and his cohorts. Stay the hell away. At number 2, Huey Lewis says, there ain't no living in a perfect world, and especially not for you, Huey, since you don't speak proper English. And at number 1, George Michael sings, he's got a monkey on his back. Well, I would imagine it's getting a little crowded back there, Huey. But then again, you probably don't mind. And by the way, George, there are these remarkable shaving instruments called razors. Buy one and lose that silly-ass earring. Other songs on the charts, the band Johnny Hates Jazz with I Want to Be a Hero is moving down on the charts, and deservedly so. Apparently, Johnny also hates music. I don't think hero status is eminent, Johnny, so get a real job. And there is a song I like, Rod Stewart's newest release, Forever Young. And for a moment, I thought it was a song about me, Forever Hung. And now it's time for a long-distance dedication. It comes to us from a listener in Pasadena, California, who writes, Dear Casey, I'm 16 years old, president of my class. I'm 6'2". I have blonde hair, weigh 175 pounds, and start as quarterback for my high school team. But, Casey, I have a problem. The girls simply will not leave me alone. It seems as though all they want me for is my good looks, my excellent physique. Why can't they just like me as a friend, treat me as a person instead of some sex object, and quit hitting upon me all the time? Casey, do you have any suggestions? Signed, Todd. Well, here's my answer. Dear Flaming Homo.
20 past notice, QM Sports Time. Mad Dog at 2, don't forget that. He's back today. He's back. 967 votes on a poll. Did I tell you we'd have 1,000 by 1 o'clock? Easy. Easy. We'll slide into it. Unchecked global warming will devastate the world economy on the scale of the world wars and the Great Depression, a major British report says today. How do you like that? I thought it was just a commie pinko plot. Isn't that what your right-wing fascists are telling us?
Comunista.
Introducing the report, British Prime Minister Tony Blair said unabated climate change would cost the world between 5 and 20% of global gross domestic product each year. Speaking of gross, man, you got that candy on my mind now. Bad. Big time. I don't want no candy.
Okay.
Bastard.
Don't do it.
Where the hell can I get some Mary Janes, though?
Don't.
Blair called for bold and decisive action. Nicholas Stern, a senior government economist, said that acting now to cut greenhouse gas emissions would cost about 1% of global GDP each year. The evidence shows that ignoring climate change will eventually damage economic growth, said Stern's 700-page report, the first major effort to quantify the economic cost of climate change. Maybe I could get that entire report and have Josh put it on our website. It's only 700 pages. Oh, and speaking of that, by the way, we're a little bit short on stories lately, so Josh has decided that I'm going to give out that website.
Yeah, the news story email address.
Some critics claim the Prime Minister is using Canada's position within the treaty, the Kyoto Treaty, to undermine it, acting on behalf of Washington, which has little influence in Kyoto negotiations, because the U.S., of course, is not part of the protocol. Under the 1997 Kyoto Accord, 35 industrial countries committed to reducing emissions by an average 5% below 1990 levels. By 2012, we should live so long. But Britain is one of only a handful of industrialized countries whose greenhouse gas emissions have fallen in the last 1.5 decades, the UN said today. The UN said Germany's emissions dropped 17% between 1990 and 2004, Britain's by 14%, and France's by almost 1%. Overall, there was a 2.4% rise in emissions by 41 industrialized countries from 2000 to 2004. That was blamed mostly on former Soviet bloc countries whose emissions declined in their economic downturn of the 1990s, then increased by 4.1% during the most recent 4-year period. The British government is considering a new green tax on cheap airline flights, fuel, and high-emission vehicles as well. How do you like that? A new green tax.
Mm-hmm.
You've messed my mind up with that candy stuff.
You brought it up.
The hell I did.
All right.
You started with that Mary Jane crap.
You started it, and then I noticed it.
Where did it come from?
I don't know. From before, from whenever that package came in.
Well, that's like a year ago, and you're wondering why it's oozing molasses? Oh, that sounds good. I open that thing. In fact, Mary Jane is very much like, it's along the same line, so it's no surprise that the same maker makes them, I guess. Bit of Honey.
Oh, right. Very similar.
It's not the same maker. Bit of Honey is made by Nestle.
Except for that molasses. Molasses sticky.
Yeah, good stuff. Can you imagine getting your blood sugar up to about 850 easy?
And I got to cut the crap. I ate like a pig all weekend again.
975 votes on the poll. I'm down to 193 and change. I think it was 193.4, something like that. What's the point? Now, that may not be the greatest number ever, but that's not bad after a recent pigging out, including your ice cream-induced pigging out. God, once you started with that. Of course, that was thanks to our friends at Farrell's Ice Cream in Jackson in Dania, in Jackson, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good. It was well worth it, I guess, at half the price. Now, did you guys take any home, like a couple of tubs, or not?
Oh, yeah, no, I took a couple tubs home. And the hot dogs that we were talking about.
The wieners.
I took some home. I haven't eaten yet, but I took a bunch home.
I'll be damned. UN investigates Israel's uranium weapons. The UN Environmental Program is investigating allegations first published in the British Independent that Israel may have used uranium-based weapons during the summer's war in Lebanon. 20 UN experts working with Lebanese environmentalists have spent 2 weeks assessing various samples and planning to report their findings in December. We should all live so long. Boutros al-Harb, UNEP's Middle East director, told a Lebanese radio interview over the weekend, if uranium was used, we will find out and we will announce it. We can't confirm anything now, but we'll wait for the results. Yesterday, Israel issued its most explicit denial yet. Mayor Avital Leibovitz, a spokeswoman for the Israel Defense Forces, said, we deny using any weapons containing uranium. One official suggested that if the environmentalists had indeed found traces of uranium, they would have looked for a different explanation. Chris Busby, the scientific secretary of the European Committee on Radiation Risk, based in Brussels, reported last week that 2 soil samples thrown up by Israeli bombs in the South Lebanese villages of Qiyam and Tiri, centers of fierce fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, showed elevated radiation signatures. Dr. Busby warned that particles from the explosions were long-lived in the environment and could be inhaled in the lungs, causing significant health effects on civilians, just like those cluster bomblets that have significant health effects, like death. Yeah. Oops.
Side effects may include death.
The Harwell Laboratory, I wonder if that's named after Ernie Harwell. The Harwell Laboratory for Mass Spectrometry in Oxfordshire confirmed the concentration of uranium isotopes in the samples, but the European experts were puzzled about what weapons Israel might have been using and why. Chris Bellamy, I wonder if he's kin to Ralph Bellamy or Brian Bellamy. Chris Bellamy, a professor of military science and doctor at Cranfield University, said initial tests present an enigma, but he dismissed speculation that Israel was using a dirty bomb or a micro-yield nuclear weapon.
What?
How do you like that? Mm-hmm. And, of course, those Israelis, if they got that stuff, you know where they got it from, don't you?
Us?
I just mentioned that in passing. Because, like I said, that's one of Bushmeister's biggest hobbies is killing people. These good religionists, man, they're killing us with kindness. They're killing anybody they can with kindness. 977 on the poll. That was very touching that we had that article in the Herald yesterday about the morning show, about the Kenny and Bo and No Mo morning show. And thank God they didn't write anything about ratings yet. It's much too premature, you know. You're such a hard ass. picking on those guys because they had a .9 in September, their first full month on the air doing that show. I mean, you got to realize that the entire audience from before the humper, they followed him to the afternoon, both of those 2 share numbers. So that we're like starting from scratch. We're scratching it. So if you give these guys a couple of months, and then like come January, we'll bring in a real show.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 UAM.
You got.
Hey, dude. Are you smelling?
If I'm smelling, there's no telling. Ellen.
There ain't no smelling where my feet are dwelling.
That's because these hip Caucasians are wearing Dr. Schmoll's odor eaters.
Yo, are you smelling?
If I'm smelling, lock me up like a felon.
My feet used to be smelling like rotten melons. If you took a whiff, your eyes would start welling.
People were rebelling until I stopped smelling.
Dr. Schmoll's odor eater insoles are the best way to stop foot odor and the best way to rip off our gelling ads.
Yo, Kellen, are you smelling?
No, I'm not smelling.
Man, you are so smelling.
When it comes to smelling, you're excelling.
The reasons for you to stop smelling are compelling.
Dr. Schmoll's odor eater insoles, available at your local drugstore.
That's where they're selling.
That's what I've been telling you. 12:31 at 560 WQM. That's our sports hysterical time. So anyway, you were close. Those Rogers candies were chocolate almond brittle.
Okay.
I Googled it.
Well, that's better than peanut brittle.
The worst thing I uncovered in this, see, there's nothing worse in the world than the Internet. I used to think there was nothing better, but there's nothing worse, too, because if you want something, you can not only find it on there, but you can have it delivered right to your door, no matter how lazy and fat and disgusting you are. If you got a few bucks, they'll deliver right to your door.
Mm-hmm.
It says, do you love Rogers chocolates? And the answer, of course, is
absolutely.
Are you hooked on our famous Victoria creams or sinfully delicious chocolate almond brittle? Yes. Then you won't want to miss Rogers Chocolate's newest creation, premium ice cream.
Oh, my God.
Made by our experienced candy makers in our very own chocolate factory, Rogers ice cream uses only the best ingredients that many of our chocolate fans will recognize. Ribbons of buttery caramel, Rogers chocolate almond brittle, natural peppermint oil, Rogers dark and milk chocolate, handmade ginger snaps, Rogers classic truffles, Rogers candied ginger and dark chocolate, and chewy brownies for all you brownie hounds. And if that weren't enough, Rogers ice cream is made with 13% real cream, pure vanilla, and no additives or preservatives. Rogers ice cream are available at most Rogers stores and at Sam's Deli in Victoria, eh? Oh, my God. Rogers stores. Oh, and then they also have no sugar-added candies, which will keep you real busy all day, because I'm sure they're loaded with maltitol and sorbitol and crap it all. Wow. And there's a picture here of a Rogers ice cream sandwich. It's got like chunks of something in the ice cream, you know. Not just your plain old pedestrian ice cream sandwich, which those aren't all that bad, to be honest with you. You ever go in a convenience store and get like half a dozen of those?
No.
See, you're not addicted to sugar like I am.
Or ice cream.
Yeah, but it sure didn't stop. It didn't hold you back on Friday, though.
No, that was
from the
chocolate.
reports I was getting. Huh?
Ice cream sandwiches have chocolate around worthless vanilla.
Yeah.
Well, that's chaff. Why do I want to eat sugary vanilla?
What about those flying saucers they have at Carvel? I mean, they've got like ice cream sandwiches around like different kinds of ice cream, like chocolate.
Okay, I'll take it.
You ever get a flying saucer?
Not lately.
Newspaper circulation continues its slide. Nobody and their brother-in-law is reading newspapers anymore. That's why it's a damn good thing I'm here on the air reading the newspaper, you know it? The Miami Herald posted steep circulation declines over the past 6 months, outpacing other big city metro dailies. And I love the way it says outpacing. In other words, the slide was bigger, outpacing. And the national average, according to figures released today by the Audit Bureau of Circulations, and this, guess what website it's from, the Herald. For the 6 months ending September 30, weekday newspaper circulation softened by 2.8% compared to the same period a year ago, continuing a trend that's accelerated in recent years with the use of the Internet. Can't find no Rogers ice cream in the Herald, I'll guarantee you that. The Miami Herald posted a dive of 9.8% in its Sunday circulation and 8.8% Monday through Friday. Dropping like a rock. How do you like that? Dropping like a rock. The Sun Sentinel saw smaller slides. The Fort Lauderdale Daily slipped 5.4% on Sunday and 2% on weekdays. Spanish language daily El Nuevo Herald, which George demands they stop leaving on his stoop.
They have.
Good.
Finally.
Showed declines of 2% on Sunday and 3%, almost 3% on weekdays. Nationwide, Sunday circulation fell 3.4% and daily dropped 2.8%. But the Herald is outsourced, baby. The circulation is dropping like Iraq. 995 on the poll. There's that unctuous, phony Joe Scarborough, that pasty Florida ex-congressman here on MSNBC.
Florida's again in play.
Yeah, play this, you idiot. You quisling.
You fairy.
I like this article by Dr. Jerry Lower. How much lower can you go? On the smirking chimp, he says, how many years for Bush and Cheney? Paul Craig Roberts has recently asked a provocative question. 1. If Enron Skilling gets 24 years in prison, oh, I see, that's a footnote thing. If Enron Skilling gets 24 years in prison, how many should Bush and Cheney get? There's no way to answer this question, of course, except in the hypothetical. So let's firstly get factual, then we can get hypothetical in the interest of American justice. Factually, the Bush administration is the worst thing that's happened to America in the past 2 centuries. Ideologically, it's 180 degrees off course in pursuing an incomprehensible agenda in the interest of the corporate dominion of America and in the interest of a global U.S. economic hegemony. Why is it that all of a sudden, since about 2 months ago, I can't say that word anymore?
You forgot?
I forgot.
Candy.
I didn't forget about the candy, though, about those Mary Janes. That molasses just dripping down your chin. The Bush administration justifies itself with pandering to Old Testament Roman values and worldviews, which it has no intention of allowing to influence its neo-fascist agenda. The extent to which the Bush administration will go to maintain its agenda is not so hypothetical. Given the past half-decade of Bush-Cheney policies, we can rest assured that the Bush administration will go far beyond anything resembling reason and common sense, of which the Bush administration has no definable grasp. These are the sorry facts of the matter about which we may now get hypothetical. The American deaths of 9/11 have been avenged by several orders of magnitude. Afghanistan is in a shambles. Osama bin Laden remains footloose, and the Taliban are making a resurgence. Palestine and Lebanon are in a shambles. Iraq, never having possessed weapons of mass destruction or having supported bin Laden, is advancing away from democracy toward a Shiite partition. To be sure, it's not possible to democratize any nation under the values of Judaism, Old Testament Romanism, or Islamism. There simply is no historical precedent for such occurrence. Hypothetically, then, we can ask what happens when the Bush administration fails in its efforts to establish a democracy in Iraq. Hypothetically, we can ask what happens when the Bush administration becomes further entangled in the middle of Iraqi civil wars. What happens when the Bush administration takes preemptive action on Iranian nuclear facilities? What happens in the case of a Middle East nuclear meltdown involving all 3 branches of Abrahamic religion? Abrahamic. Regardless of how the end of times for religion and capitalism come to be played out, the end of times will be played out as a result of blind self-righteousness on the part of the Abrahamic religions, to which we say, Oi! The end result will almost certainly involve criminal charges and impeachment proceedings against the Bush administration's main players for crimes against the people. We are now in a position to consider hypothetical punishments. Given the enormity of the crimes, the most appropriate punishment in Bush's born-again Old Testament Roman eyes, of course, would be life imprisonment or death. We must remember, however, that we are Americans. We know that death never solved anything. We know that incarceration has seldom solved anything. Even so, we can embrace the common sense that says some people just need to be locked up. Then they can be on lockup on MSNBC, which airs 80 times a night. Because this administration was appointed into office as opposed to being elected into office, the people have no obligation for further fiscal support of these criminals. Somewhere in a brushy region of Texas or in lower New Orleans, the American people may build the George W. Bush penal colony for intellectually bankrupt and morally corrupt un-American politicians. It would provide a separate gated and guarded community with small one-bedroom rental apartments for its occupants' spouses welcome. All inmates would be required to work for a living and to pay for their own food, lodging, and utilities, just like everybody else in America. They would do so at the current federal minimum wage, no other sources of income allowed. For the members of the Bush administration, it's the most appropriate to have poverty and immobility imposed upon them for their durations. This would constitute a punishment based in compassion instead of vengeance. Americans are not a mean and vindictive people. Once we've seen to honoring human rights and operationally meaningful concepts of fairness, equality, and justice for all people in America, no one will need to be punished beyond the level experienced by the poorest of Americans under religious capitalism, Abrahamism. On the other hand, if Bush comes to realize the end of times, failure beneath his own administration's policies and programs, perhaps he will still save the American people a lot of trouble by simply offing himself with Saddam Hussein's pistols for that ultimate touch of irony. How do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Abrahamic religions. Don't you love that?
I got one in the backyard.
What, a pistol?
An Abrahamic.
No. Swinging in it?
Oh, all the time.
Always knew he was a swinger.
Mm-hmm.
12:40, 20 to 1, that's our QAM sports time. How about them Hurricanes, baby? Oh! How come they have Dolphins?
Oh!
Didn't lose no game yesterday because they didn't play one. I guarantee if they'd have played a game yesterday, they'd have lost it. If they'd have played a pickup game with a bunch of Sandlot kids, they'd have lost it. They're a losing kind of team because they got a losing kind of coach, Nick Saban, and the media hates him like poison, man. You don't come to town, open up a big mouth, and turn on everybody in the media. Am I right?
Huh?
When you're in a position like Nick Saban. I think the Saban era is just about over, and I think after the Bears cremate the Dolphins next week in Chicago, I think that'll be the end. Whether he gets canned or not, that remains to be seen. But I'm just talking about symbolically, that'll be the end. It'd be like putting the stake through Dracula's heart. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Remember Professor Von Helsing?
Blech.
1,012 votes on that poll, man. We are really off to the races. Trust me. There's that obnoxious Pat Buchanan.
Heartbreaking photo of that little girl in Arlington and her father, who was a Virginian.
I wonder if Rick Riley is going to write him in again. What about those old Jews in Palm Beach? You think they're going to try to vote for Buchanan again in 2008? That'll be great. 19-1 at QAM. Experience the difference at Mercedes-Benz of Pompano. And don't forget, at Mercedes-Benz of Pompano, it doesn't matter what time of month you purchase a vehicle, because you're always going to get an unbeatable deal. Whether it's one of the brand new 2007 Mercedes-Benz luxury sedans, the 2007 GL Class, the first Mercedes-Benz full-size SUV, or their large selection of certified pre-owned cars. When you choose Mercedes-Benz of Pompano, you've got over 200 employees dedicated to providing you incomparable service, offering express lube, courtesy vehicles, and complimentary car wash, too. Make an appointment through our Business Development Center, and don't forget you can even earn dealer miles just like frequent flyer miles, too, with your airline. Browse Mercedes-Benz of Pompano's Indoor Expo. You'll find over 150 great new and pre-owned vehicles, or just go to benzpompano.com on the Wicked Web. Experience the amazing difference at Mercedes-Benz of Pompano. You'll find them at I-95 and Copans Road. Call them at 1-800-NEW-BENZ, N-E-W-B-E-N-Z. That's 1-800-NEW-BENZ for Mercedes-Benz of Pompano, a Mercedes-Benz dealer like no other.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Back in the church.
Absolutely.
Not straight off, Foley's a hobo.
Yes.
Another fine Republican, moralist queer ho. Raylan Neocon had to resign, yeah. Was it worth the career of the Christian blood? Did it feel that pride more sense?
You fairy.
We're having too much fun with smooth controlling. Jesus, Charlie Crist can't be far behind now.
Gay.
He's just a go-go-go-go, pounder,
$12:48 at 560 WQM. That's our anti-sports time, our anti-Christ time. Meatloaf melt. Boy, doesn't that sound good?
Meatloaf?
Meatloaf melt.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking on the 2J's menu. I just found this on the bottom of my pile.
I thought you said meatloaf melts, and I'm thinking, well, not if you do it right.
Meatloaf melt. It's a sandwich, man. Like
Sounds
a tuna
good.
melt. Like a patty melt. You ever see patty melt?
All the time.
Into a little puddle.
Just
anyway,
before.
I see meatloaf melt on the menu with 2J's. Remember how I raved about that place and how good it was and you told me you ate there? Or did you tell me you didn't eat there?
2J's? No, I didn't eat there. I think Josh did.
I have, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's very good.
Oh, they have stuffed cabbage, too, man.
There's one in that
See?
low-crime place, Coral Springs.
And potato pancakes. There's one right there in that medium crime place, Plantation, right there on University. Right by that little doggy place, you know. I can't go over there when I'm down there. I can't go by that doggy place because I see them little puppies in the window. And, you know me, I see little puppies and I want to buy at least a couple of them and bring them home, you know. Can't have no dogs here where I am, so that would be bad to leave them down there. Wouldn't that be a bad surprise to leave somebody a couple of puppies?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, look what's all over your carpet and get Dry Concepts in here again right away, like every week. Now, I don't want to go back through that again. You know, I love dogs, but I just don't want to go through all of it again. Maybe someday, you know. This is a really interesting thing. Annie Grower in the Washington Post. Who do I tip and how much? Let's start asking some French Canadians. Who do you tip and how much? Huh?
You cheap
bastardos, man. Oh, brother, they are the worst. They are the worst, them frogs. It says, sure, we all know the custom. Tip the cabbie, the waitress, the barber, and we generally agree on the math. 15% is one standard, is now pushing 20%. In a restaurant, if I get just even halfway decent service, I always leave 20%.
Me too. It's easier math anyway.
Yeah. If I get spectacular service, I might even leave like 25, maybe even.
About 30, man.
You know, if I like the waiter, which I doubt. But what about people who perform services in our homes? The plumber, the window washer, the hooker, the movers who wall up a sofa up 2 flights of stairs, the carpenters and painters who can begin to feel like family during big remodeling projects. Ask a dozen people whom they tip and why, and you're likely to get a dozen different answers. So, see, Rimmer never has to worry about the tip because he's not picking up the check anyway. What's this fax I'm getting here? Is this from you?
When you see some of these ads.
Oh, no. There you are again. If it isn't the food he's shoveling off on me, it's that bitch. Well, that's enough to make me lose the appetite, so it balances out.
That's right.
She could make anybody look. Oh, there's Gary Hart, who doesn't look a day over 100.
Constitutional.
Oh, my God. What Tom Fiedler in the Herald did to poor Gary Hart. Of course, he was asking for it. Regarding the article on the morning show you just read, don't get too excited. It was in the neighbor section in Broward, which perhaps 3 old farts read. At the Streisand concert in Sunrise, Pat Riley was there, as were Donna Shalala and Miss Fudge. Miss Fudge was there.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then I read on ESPN.com an article about Red Auerbach croaking. The article says, I was enjoying the Streisand concert in Florida when I heard the bad news, written by Dick Vitale. Have these people no shame? No, they don't. Well, what am I not supposed to get too excited about? The fact that people are paying these wild prices to go see that pig?
No,
the fact that Pat Riley was there, or Donna Shalala, or Miss Fudge. Yeah, she figures to be at a Barbara Streisand. All the queens would go to see that. All the real screamers, Matt. All the closet cases, like Miss Fudge. Some routinely give extra cash to anyone who helps them out. Some never do. In the way that opposites attract, they're occasionally married to each other. The rules for tipping for household services appear totally arbitrary. Especially this time of the year. Think fall planning, interior sprucing up, pre-holiday deliveries. Generosity can mount up fast. Call me old-fashioned, but I always tip the people who come to my house to perform a service as Lily Tijerena, an information security specialist in Virginia. I believe that most of the people who do service type of jobs are not highly compensated, so I always give them a tip. You know, one of the first things I do at Woodbine when I go there?
What's that?
Or not necessarily always the first thing, but I go to the cashier window and I'll take like a $10 bill and say, give me 10 loonies.
There you go.
Loonies a $1 coin. See, George isn't even taken aback by that.
No, so you got something to tip.
So I got because there are no coins anymore. Now that we have the tickets and all the machines, there are no more coins.
Mm-hmm.
What I used to do was take like a 20 and go to a dollar machine and cash out and get all the coins.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't got no coins no more. So I go to the window. There's nothing that bugs me more. Well, there are a lot of things that bug me more, like the smelly, obnoxious people like that Italian bitch. But I'm like a magnet, you know? I attract these people like honey attracts bees.
Maybe she wants you.
Yeah, right.
Well, you look like a money bags.
Yeah, the bags part. An opposing point of view, no, I do not tip those who mow my lawn, clean my gutters, wash my windows, deliver furniture, fix the furnace, renovate the kitchen, upgrade the wiring, says Cindy Gilbert of Adelphi, Maryland, a management analyst at the Federal Office of Personnel Management. If so, I'd be dead broke from all the tipping. Enough of the tipping. Plumbers and electricians, she reasons, charge out-of-this-world prices for their services, their travel time, and at such rates, I'm sure they already included a hefty tip for themselves anyway. See, in Europe, they may hate Americans in general, but one of the reasons they like us is because Americans, being stupid, we don't realize the tip is already included in the price, in the check.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, because we, feel guilty, we always leave like extra, but not too much. Even me, I always leave like an extra euro or two, or a couple, whatever, change I got. Spencer Levine, or is that Levine, of suburban Maryland, communication director for a nonprofit organization, is somewhere in the murky middle. We tip the pizza delivery guy and the kids who shovel snow from the driveway, even if they don't do an especially good job, because they're kids. I never viewed house painting as a service for which I would tip. In the same way, I'm not going to tip the Honda dealership when I buy a car. After a pause, he asks, are we doing something wrong? Tipping the dealership when you buy a car? Who ever heard of that?
Not me.
Of course, his name is Levine or Levine. Perhaps we will find clarity among those working closely in the home service industry. No such luck. Typically, plumbers don't get tipped, but painters do. There's no rhyme or reason for it, says Angie Hicks, who runs Angie's List, a nationwide series of local rating guides for an array of domestic services. One thing to keep in mind is that they've gone above and beyond the call of duty and provided exceptional service. If they come out in the middle of the night, if your toilet was overflowing, for lawn care crews on contract, Hicks suggests maybe something at the end of the summer, $20 to $50 or the price of mowing. And don't forget about the little things, such as like a glass of lemonade. Would be nice. Yeah. Sarah Smock Marketing director for Mary Maids, the nation's largest residential house cleaning service, says relatively few clients tip during the year. 17% regularly give their weekly or twice monthly cleaners an extra $5 to $10 per visit, although there's more tipping at the holidays. Oh, that's right, Jeannie. We got an extra $50 for you at Christmas time. Have a great life, Jeannie. Rewarding a contractor who's often handsomely paid or his employees is, like when you stay in a hotel, like in Europe, for example, and you stay like for about 8 or 9 nights.
Mm-hmm.
When you leave, theoretically, you're supposed to leave your change for the chambermaid, for the maid that comes and cleans the room every day.
Okay.
Now, if I got a pocket full of change, first of all, I got to get rid of it anyway because I don't want it in my pants when I'm going through the scanner at the airport,
All right.
So what I'll do is I'll take the ashtray and I'll leave my pocket full of change in the ashtray.
All right.
No matter how much it is. I mean, I just don't want that all those euro coins, you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Often tipping is a simple expression of niceness, says Peter Post, great-grandson of manners doyen Emily Post, author of 4 etiquette books and a believer in the above and beyond maxim. If someone hauls a couch up 3 flights of stairs and moves 4 pieces of furniture, you want to give them a tip, some lunch if they're there all day, cold drinks. Saying thank you is good, so is doing a letter of appreciation. But he rarely offers extra cash. That's not what this is about. With plumbers, electricians, carpenters, people who build an addition, the best thing you can do is just pay them right away. Well, there you go. Ann Brown, former Consumer Product Safety Commission chairwoman, has her own system. She tipped a carpet cleaner who came quickly, worked well, and had a really great attitude.
Just move right along.
Oh, I didn't know that came with... I wonder when you call Dry Concepts if that comes with a cleaning.
I've only ever gotten complaints for doing that, so just keep going.
Oh, man, there's somebody with a way with words. 1,044 votes on the poll. I think we got 1,100 licked, don't we?
You got to stop at some point. I'm begging.
Yeah, I think we're looking at
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
It's not just the 1 to 2 hour. It's a phenomenon.
Don't miss the latest must-have sensation to hit stores. It's the Tickle Me Bush doll. This chattering little character from the Pennsylvania Avenue Beltway gang will laugh at anything you say. Tell old George W. his surplus is all dried up, and he'll laugh. Tell him his military couldn't fight a Boy Scout jamboree on a warm summer day, and he can't help but laugh. And you'll laugh, too, as this Tickle Me Bush doll puckers his face to one side and wiggles his ape-like ears uncontrollably. Tickle Me Bush is sure to be the biggest thing since the Al Gore grows a beard Chia Pet. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll kiss $49.99 goodbye with a Tickle Me Bush doll. Every Republican household is sure to have one. If you act now, 10% of every doll sold will support stem cell research, the Missile Defense Shield, and Alaska oil drilling. He's cuddly. He's hysterical. He's got ape-like ears. It's the Tickle Me Bush doll. Now sold in stores wherever guns, ammo, and NRA propaganda are sold.
103 at 560 WQM. It's our gigantic world flaming 1 to 2 hour. Wait till you hear this. You will not be. You won't be too happy about it, but you sure won't be surprised.
Okay.
Glitches cited in early voting.
Oh, gee, what a surprise.
Early voters urged to cast their ballots with great care following scattered reports of problems with heavily used machines, After a week of early voting, a handful of glitches with electronic voting machines have drawn the ire of voters, reassurances from election supervisors, and a caution against the careless casting of ballots. Several South Florida voters say the choices they touched on electronic screens were not the ones that appeared on the review screen, the final voting step. Election officials say they're not aware of any serious voting issues, but in Broward, for example, they don't know how widespread the machine problems are because there's no process for poll workers to quickly report minor issues and no central database of machine problems. In Dade, incidents are logged and reported daily and recorded in a central database, and George is cracking his fingers again. Problem machines are shut down. What?
I said,
In the past, Dade County would send someone to correct the machine on site, said Lester Sola, County Supervisor of Elections. Now, he said, we close the machine down and put a seal on it. So if you walk in to go vote and you see a seal flopping around on top of the machine, stay away from that one. Deborah Reed voted with her boss on Wednesday at African American Research Library and Cultural Center near Fort Lauderdale. Her vote went smoothly, but boss Gary Rudolph called her over to look at what was happening on his machine. He touched the screen for gubernatorial candidate Jim Davis, the Democrat, but the review screen repeatedly registered the Republican Charlie Crist. That's exactly the kind of problem that sends conspiracy theorists into high gear, especially in South Florida, where a history of problems at the polls have made voters especially skittish.
What history of problems at the polls?
Oh, I don't know. They're just making that up. You know the Herald. A poll worker then helped Rudolph, but it took 3 tries to get it right. So if you want to vote for Davis, you better vote 3 times, just to be sure. I'm shocked, but because I really want to trust that the issues with irregularities with voting machines have been resolved, said Reed, a paralegal. It worries me because the races are so close. Here's a fax that says, I'm tuning in late today, so I hope I'm not being redundant. I took the time to read the article posted, Hell Awaits America from Smirking Chimp by Jason Miller. That may be the finest analysis I've read in quite some time. That article deserves a live reading. Thanks for posting these articles. I feel like I'm cheating by taking advantage of your efforts. You are, and quit doing it. Not. I feel like I'm cheating by taking advantage of your efforts. Why do you think we do it?
Right.
So people will read this stuff, man. Because people don't read anything, like that article we had about the newspaper circulation being way down. People don't read, baby. At least they don't read newspapers. Hopefully they read on the Internet like NeilRogers.com.
Right.
We beg, we plead, we pray. And because so many people are reading it these days, Josh has decided to give out that email address. It's just a joke. We're never going to do that. Although it's a great idea, though, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Keep him off
20
the streets,
copies
keep
of
him out
every
of
story.
trouble. Yeah. Keep him inside all the time, morning, noon, and night. Even during the show. Wouldn't be able to eat all that ice cream, all the other crap. And when those big bags of candy come in that George is ordering.
Not me.
I'm so sorry that I found that Rogers ice cream.
Oh.
Why did you start that with that Mary Jane? If you have any idea what a titanic lightning bolt that struck through my head when you started talking about Mary Jane candy. Broward Supervisor of Elections spokeswoman Mary Cooney said it's not uncommon for screens on heavily used machines to slip out of sync, making votes register incorrectly. Oh, wonderful. Poll workers are trained to recalibrate them on the spot, essentially to realign the video screen with electronics inside. The 15-step process is outlined in the poll worker's manual. The 15-step process.
Piece of cake.
It's resolved right there. See, there he goes again. Bastard. Broward Puller, you see, there's a method in his madness, I'm telling you right now. He got that big summer book. He thinks that if I croak like before my birthday on Sunday, if I croak real soon,
that's a
then
hairy
he'll
lie.
get the gig, you know?
I'm one of the few people that doesn't want you dead.
Oh. I heard they're going to bring somebody back who can do a big number in there. And what am I supposed to be Googling? I'm supposed to find that article by Jason Miller. And that's not the Jason Miller that was in The Exorcist who died, is it?
I
Wasn't that
can't
his
imagine
name?
it. Yeah, that was his name.
No. He played the Father Karras. He didn't play Alex Karras. He played Father Karras. Where the hell am I going to find that? I know it's on our website somewhere. Is it on there today, Josh?
Oh, yeah.
Hell Awaits America? What? Huh?
Think so.
He doesn't know. I sent him so damn... There it is. Mass manipulation, etc. Another one of those Jason Miller articles, okay? Filled with left-wing propaganda, just the way we like it. I'm printing it out right now, right off our website. That way I won't have no chopped-off edge. You know, I did discover that, and that is that if I print the stories out right from our website and the fine job that you've done on there, it's like, you know... So anyway, there you go, WB. Thanks a lot. And I'm printing it out right now. And if it's not 500 pages long, maybe I'll just read it right here on the air. Not more reading of articles on the air instead of those great phone calls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's coming. Quickly, like the cleaning guy. He awaits. Oh, hell waits. See, I can't even read the first word right. How am I going to read this? Hell awaits America, mass manipulation, blissful psychosis, and 7 easy ways to achieve damnation, writes Jason Miller. How long is this thing? It's too long. I think WB, I think he's from the WB network. Oh, this is too long. This goes on. Like I said, read it on our website today. It's like the second article on there. It's like 100 pages long. Send WB the bill for the fax paper. Jesus, God. This is like about 7 pages long. On and on and on it goes and where it stops. And it says, in the last 2 paragraphs, so revel in the mass delusion, suck the marrow that the wretched may gnaw upon the bones, and excise your conscience, and for God's sake, savor each second of the ride, because hell awaits America. Isn't that uplifting right in the middle of lunch hour? That's a little after lunch hour. It's 109, which is shy of the Beach Boys in 409. Wasn't it PT 109? Wasn't that the JFK boat?
Yes, it was.
1,067 votes on the poll. We got that 1,100 licked. We're getting our licks. And what was that thing about tickle my what on that bit I just played?
Fancy.
Oh, tickle my fancy. Republican Senator John McCain, who never found a war that he wasn't enchanted with, said Friday the U.S. should send another 20,000 troops to Iraq.
Oh, my God.
A member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, McCain said increasing U.S. forces would require expanding the standing Army and Marine Corps, a step the Bush administration has resisted. Another 20,000 troops in Iraq, but that means expanding the Army and Marine Corps, he said. McCain's call for escalation would exacerbate the deteriorating situation in Iraq, would only further damage U.S. national security, writes, this is from Think Progress, is the website. And here's at least 2 reasons why. It says, 1, no troops to send. Sending more troops to Iraq would, at the moment, threaten to break our nation's all-volunteer army and undermine our national security. McCain suggests enlarging the force to send them to Iraq, an idea that's implausible to carry out over the short term, and that would damage the military's ability to recruit over the long term. And 2, the insurgency would grow more inflamed, as in flaming. A more visible presence of U.S. troops risks further stoking the flames of the insurgency by feeding perceptions of long-term U.S. occupation among many Iraqis. The recent effort to increase troop numbers in Baghdad has only increased violence. A recent poll of Iraqis indicates that support for attacks on U.S.-led forces has grown to a majority positions, now 6 out of 10, a number sure to increase if more U.S. troops are put on the ground. Phased withdrawal is gaining consensus as the last best option for Iraq. A growing group of experts, including the Iraq Study Group and a host of conservative senators, are consolidating behind a redeployment. 63% of Americans believe Congress should set a timetable. Now. Pronto. Right? Subito.
Si.
Quickly.
Da.
1,070 votes on that poll about ladies, man. Women.
Mm-hmm.
There's good, like everything else. There's good ones, there's bad ones, there's beautiful ones, there's sexy ones, there's grotesque ones, there's fat ones, there's smelly ones, there's tall ones and short ones. What's the worst thing about women? Mood swings, 214. Non-stop bitching, 183. There's a way to solve that, you know. Never say what they mean, 132. Nagging, 122. Nagging and bitching and moaning and whining. Unrealistic expectations, 118. When they get saggy and sloppy, that ain't good, 89. I hate this poll, 74. 6.9%. Nothing, they're great. Women are all great, 56. There's obviously some guys who didn't get around too much. They never forget, 37, and they'll never let you forget. That's part of the nagging thing. No sense of humor, 32. And rush to commitment, 14. You don't even have your pants off yet, and already they want the ring, you know? Which I guess is easy if you got a ring around the collar.
Yeah.
Like a priest, for example. He's always got the ring around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that a lot of these priests ought to have, like, something around them? Like a noose would be good.
Sure.
Noose around the neck. Makes sense to me. Like that priest, Father Marcia, whose name is Marcheca, but nevertheless, it's Marcia. Can you explain to me how you pronounce those letters, Marcia?
Hey, you're Mr. Italian Linguini.
Yeah, right. That Italian woman, man.
I know. Now I lost 1,500. You see, when you think I won something? I mean, I lost my ass.
How old is she, like, more or less?
Old. She's like older than me. She's old. Old Italian yenta, man, hocking me like I'm sitting there with my own issues, okay? I'm trying desperately not to give any money back on Saturday, which I did not. I wound up with a really nice day. Not thanks to her. I don't even know the bitch, and she's an old nag and ought to be shot on the spot. 113 at QAM.
The biggest names of best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're listening to the Hockey Authority, Neil Gar.
Oh, I'd like to know who won the election. Said I'd like to know who won the election.
Yes.
Count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote. I'm dying over here. Since this presidential race began, I've often wondered who was going to win. Some Palm Beach people went to do their voting chore. So count up all the ballots and find out who's gotten more. Those old folks seem to have one thing in common. Looks like lots of them just gave their votes to Patrick Buchanan.
Oh my God.
So I'd like to know who won the election. Yes, I'd like to know who won the election. Count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote. Oi! The final tabulation started coming in. Then I saw a news flash on Channel 10. Some angry people all together in a bunch. They said they were confused and didn't know which hole to punch. Those old folks seem to have one thing in common. Looks like lots of them just gave their votes to Patrick Buchanan.
Oh my God.
So I'd like to know who won the election. Said I'd like to know who won the election. Oh, I'd like to know who won the election. Yes, I'd like to know who won the election. Count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote Count the vote, baby, count the vote. Count the vote over, count the vote. How many for Bush? Count the vote. How many for Gore? Count the vote. How many for Bush?
About 30, man.
Are there any more? Count the vote. They messed up the ballot. Count the vote. They messed up the ballot.
20 after 1, Gornish Telfin, baby. It's Design America. Here's, I guess, what Josh was talking about at the beginning of the show. I hadn't heard anything about this. Trevor Berbick?
Right, yeah, I just saw the headline.
Jamaican police have made a second arrest in the machete slaying of former Canadian and world heavyweight boxing champ Trevor Berbick. The arrest came Sunday night. Last night, after hours of questioning the first suspect, a 20-year-old man, said Carl Angel, Director of Communications from the Jamaican Constabulary Force. Earlier today, from his office in Kingston, Jamaica, man. How do you like that?
Yeah, man.
The Constabulary. Berbick, the 52-year-old former world champ, who once beat the legendary Muhammad Ali, was found dead with multiple head wounds in the yard of Norwich Baptist Chapel. Across the road from his home in the district of Norwich early Saturday, police have said the wounds to the back of his head were likely caused by a machete, which in rural Jamaica is primary farm implement for the small farmer. I wonder if it's like the one we got sitting on the counter there, that OJ machete.
I threw it away.
You did?
Yeah, it didn't work.
Norwich is a quiet community on the island's northeast, about 120 kilometers, 72 miles from the capital, Kingston. Angel said that rumors were rife that the slaying stemmed from a dispute over land. However, we can't confirm this, he said. A land dispute. There are also rumors of conflict with neighbors or within the Berbick family. Neighbors of the former champ, reached by telephone, were reluctant to be named, but all said the neighborhood is quiet and safe. One church member, a neighbor of Berbick, said the former champ seemed down on his luck. He had returned to the community where he was born after being deported from the U.S. Berbick had apparently been in conflict over family property that he sought to reassert control over after so many years abroad. Berbick fought professionally from 1976 to 2000, finishing with a record of 50-11 with 1 draw and 33 knockouts. He fought for Jamaica at the 1976 Montreal Olympics and became a Canadian landed immigrant in 1979, shortly after beginning his pro boxing career while living in Halifax, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Boy, you think you're seeing cold, baby. I can't even begin to imagine. He quickly won the Canadian heavyweight title and moved to Florida in the early 80s, just as his boxing career was taking off. You see how ill-fated it is? People that wind up moving to Florida, oh, my God, their lives turn to crap. In 1981, he beat an aging Ali in the Bahamas in the final fight of the boxing legend's career. In 86, he won the WBC heavyweight title in decision over Pinklin Thomas. 8 months later, he lost the title to 20-year-old Mike Tyson by a knockout. Berbick later claimed that he was drugged before that fight. How do you like that, huh? His legal problems began as his boxing career began to wane. In 1991, he was convicted of a misdemeanor assault for attacking his former business manager, who testified the boxer put a gun to her head and accused her of stealing $40,000 U.S. from him. The following year, he was convicted in the sexual assault of a 16-year-old Florida babysitter and was sentenced to 4 years in prison. He was also convicted of second-degree grand theft for forging his ex-wife's signature to get a $95,000 mortgage on his Miramar home. Oh, sounds like a really slimy kind of guy. He served 15 months in those convictions, was ordered deported to Jamaica, but before he could be removed, Berbick fled to Canada, moving first to Montreal for an unsuccessful attempt to resurrect his boxing career, and then to B.C. In other words, he took a powder to B.C. In February 1999, while in Montreal, Berbick defeated Shane Sutcliffe to win the Canadian heavyweight title for the second time. Aren't you impressed? That was later disputed because, unknown to Canadian boxing officials, he'd been stripped of his status as a landed immigrant, had been ordered deported from Canada 6 months earlier. But in December of 1999, an immigration appeal panel granted Berbick a 5-year stay, meaning he could apply for citizenship after that time if he kept out of trouble. Berbick left B.C. and returned to Florida, where a warrant had been issued for his arrest, and was deported to Jamaica in 2002.
Yeah, man.
And is dead. Trevor Berbick is dead. Red Auerbach is dead. They're dying like flies, man. How do you like that? How old was he, Trevor Berbick? I don't know. Did it say in that article? I wasn't paying any attention. Were you paying attention? I'm sure George wasn't.
Huh?
Well, it's a sports thing, man. It's a sports thing, just like Red Auerbach. We have to insert some sports crap every now and then. Just to keep clearance off our ass, yeah. That's what Josh told me. He said he wants to get clearance off his ass. 1,101 votes on the poll. We got a shot at 1110. The worst thing about women, 1,101. And it's a pretty good battle there. Mood swings 220. Non-stop bitching 186. Enough of the bitching already, okay? Quit being a nag. Although, what's the difference between bitching and nagging?
None.
Oh. I mean, I screwed up on that? No, it's good.
Yeah, whatever.
It gives them a variety of places to go to vent their spleen. 26 after 1 at 560 WQM. I don't know if the levels seem a little strange to you today, or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm losing my hearing.
I don't know.
Maybe it's all them oxys I'm thinking about popping.
That you're chewing, yeah?
Yeah. I'm thinking either start popping oxys or start eating a Mary Jane's by the handful. You bastard. Boy, those things are so damn good. I'm sure I won't find any here, but I'm sure I can find a bit of honey, which will really just rip your teeth out. And those things, boy, you talk about sending your blood sugar skyrocketing. Those things.
Get the honey, Junior.
Like taking a needle and just injecting sugar water into your veins. It's good. I'll tell you what else is good. It's Dollar Mattresses. This is the wrong spot. Well, I could do this one now. Yeah, I'll just switch them around. How's that?
All right.
It's Dollar Mattress's 30th birthday.
About 30, man.
And to celebrate Dollar Mattress, and Simmons are offering you the lowest price of the year on best-selling Simmons Beauty Rest Pillow Top. You can choose from South Florida's biggest selection of Simmons Beauty Rest with same-day delivery. So if you're finally ready to do it the smart way like I've been doing for years and most of us here at QAM, just sit there on your fat arse and call Dollar Mattress at 1-800-MATTRESS. Get unbeatable factory direct prices and award-winning service with no nonsense, no off-brands, no BS, no rip-offs, no schlepping all over town to comparison shop, wasting time, gas, and money. Dollar Mattress has got a 12-month financing deal for you, and with Dollar Mattress, as always, you just choose the date and time you want that mattress delivered, 7 days a week from 8 in the a.m. till 10 at night when it's convenient for you, and they show up, even on the same day that you call if you want. If you call right now, you can be sleeping like a baby as soon as tonight. That's why Dollar Mattress is ranked #1 in the world in customer satisfaction, and why just about everybody at QM uses them, and you ought to be doing the same. On the web, check them out at dollarmattress.com, or make that one easy phone call, 1-800-MATTRESS. 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S because it stands for spectacular savings and silly sales holes.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Ricky, a blow.
In music stores now, George Bush sings the Beatles.
Help, I need somebody. Help, not just anybody. Help. Right.
George Bush sings the Beatles.
Abu Gar. Well, right. Life goes on.
Special bonus track featuring Linda McCartney. Free vomit bag with every purchase.
You go, Lynn, then please don't come back. 131, I guess she won't, huh? Maybe she ought to right now, the way things are going.
She'll straighten that bitch up.
Yeah. I think it's a match made in purgatory myself. I think they're a perfect match. Secret cabinet memo admits Iraq is fueling UK terror. How do you like that? Tony Blair's claim that there's no link between Britain's foreign policy and terrorist attacks in Iraq, in England, is blown apart by a secret cabinet memo revealed yesterday. A classified paper written by senior Downing Street officials say that everything Britain does overseas for the next decade must have the ultimate aim of reducing terror activity, especially that in or directed against the UK, eh? The memo, circulated in recent weeks to ministers and security chiefs and seen yesterday by the Sunday Telegraph, outlines an extraordinary wish list of how the government would like world trouble spots to look in 10 years' time. It also signals a drive to reduce Britain's military commitments around the globe. It admits that in an ideal world, the Muslims would not perceive the UK and its foreign policies as hostile, effectively accept the argument that Britain's military action in Iraq and Afghanistan has served as a recruiting sergeant for Islamist terrorist groups. Publicly, Mr. Blair has resisted this line fiercely. During his final speech as leader to Labour's annual conference last month, he described such claims as enemy propaganda. But the memo leaves no doubt that all foreign policy must be driven by the goal of thwarting terrorism in Britain. It demands a significant reduction in the number and intensity of the regional conflicts that fuel terror activity. Now, it's just a coincidence, okay? They're not pissed off because they're like killing all those people over there. It's just they're all worked up. They're temperamental, that's all.
If people are pissed off, drop bombs on them. They'll start loving you then.
That's right. Margaret Carlson in the Seattle Post and Tell. You know Margaret Carlson? She's always on whatever the TV show is on Sunday. She's on those shows. With the glasses? Come on, you better start watching those panel shows, man.
Who?
Like, what's that one, McLaughlin and Company? You better start watching that. When President Bush wakes up in the night, does he wonder how the family of 20-year-old Lance Corporal Clifford Collinsworth, who was killed last week in Iraq, copes with the loss? Does he think about whether the almost 3,000 other U.S. deaths there have been worth it? At Bush's press conference, October 25, as he twisted his mouth to speak out of one side of it, his very words seemed to pain him. I know many Americans are not satisfied, he said. I'm not either. But we can't allow our dissatisfaction to turn into disillusionment. Some of the bad news is sophisticated propaganda by the enemy, he said. Not once did he utter the phrase, stay the course, which has been removed from the White House talking points, the way portraits of discredited leaders are removed from the Kremlin. What's forcing the banishment is not the looming defeat in Iraq, but the one looming at the polls. Bush told George Stephanopoulos recently that we've never been stay the course. His press secretary, the obnoxious Tony Snow, said the words hadn't passed Bush's lips since August 31. You only have to click on YouTube to see a video of at least 50 times over the last year when the president invoked those words to describe his Iraq policy. Stay the course. Bush now says he was only distinguishing himself from those who would leave abruptly. He's been misunderstood if anyone thought he wasn't a proponent of adjusting his tactics as the situation demanded. No one has claimed that. Bush might be slow to change tactics, but he changes them. The awful truth is not that military tactics haven't changed, it's that they have changed and failed. This is where slogans substituting for policy can get you into trouble. With just days to go before the election, it's time for some new spin, although in Bushland it's sadly not time for new policies. I'm reminded of Bush's father during his 1992 re-election campaign. When accused of ignoring struggling workers, he responded, "Message, I care," rather than by actually doing anything for them. By stay the course, the current president meant that despite what your eyes tell you, victory's around the corner. Voters just need to stick with someone with resolve like him, as opposed to the Democrats or defeatocrats who would cut and run before the job is done. With evidence that there's little Americans can do now to stem the worsening violence, Democrats successfully turned stay the course against the Republicans. Now endangered Republicans are urging the White House to inform voters that you don't have to do anything so rash as to vote Democratic to get the country out of Iraq. Changing course might save lives, but it's too painful for Bush to swallow, requiring as it does some admission that Iraq is descending into a chaos that Americans are helpless to stop. A new course may involve unpleasant options, such as dividing Iraq into a loose confederation, pushing out Prime Minister Maliki, who was never willing to control the Shiite militias, enlisting Iran and Syria in a regional diplomatic effort, or toughest of all, sending more troops. General George Casey, the top U.S. commander in Iraq, put that last option on the table, although he hedged by adding that it would likely mean reassigning troops already in the country. You can bet Bush's flexibility stops, at least before the election, at sending new troops to a place that the majority of Americans have given up on. The White House may be all too mindful of the addictive salted peanut phenomenon former Secretary of State Kissinger warned Nixon about after he took office. Kissinger, now an informal advisor to Bush on Iraq, said that if Nixon were to begin withdrawing troops from Vietnam before the next U.S. election, it would set off a hunger for more withdrawals and be an acknowledgement that mistakes were made. Nixon's domestic enemies would never be satisfied, and their only defeat, he said. Bush is keeping company with the wrong former Secretary of State. James Baker, co-chairman of the Iraq Study Group with former Representative Lee Hamilton, has said his recommendations would be to put more options on the table than merely to stay the course. Unfortunately, Baker is playing out the election clock, agreeing not to issue recommendations until after the midterm congressional elections. Death won't stop the minute Bush changes course, but that's not an argument for waiting. Changing course won't bring back Corporal Collinsworth, yet it could save his bunkmate. What do we got here on the fax machine, Mon?
Crap.
Rodrigo says, Friday you read an article about Crist and a 16-year-old roommate in St. Petersburg. The article spoke of Charlie using his parents' address for tax purposes and the 16-year-old using the home they shared. Why was this information not put on your website? Well, what does that mean, Rodrigo? What does that mean?
Sounds like he's busting our chops or something.
Yeah. Because somebody faxed it in, and I have no idea where it originally came from, Rodrigo. That's the answer why. If somebody wants to refax it and tell me what the source was. As a matter of fact, after the show, I Googled it to see if I could find where the hell that came from. I couldn't do it. Although I found when you type in Charlie Crist and gay in Google, you find all sorts of stuff that comes up. It pops up like that, as if there's any doubt. That's why, Rodrigo, troublemaker. 1,122 votes on that poll. We're not doing bad considering we had that late start last night, you know. I don't think that Joe Bell will be satisfied with 1,100 and some odd votes. Although I think we have some day parts that don't have quite that many listeners. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I didn't say a thing. You're hallucinating again because of that Mary Jane. Because you got that molasses all over your chin?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, God, you had to start with that. Well, I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do?
Nothing, I hope.
No, in the last break, when the last break starts at about whenever it's going to be, I'm going to go and put on my pot of boiling water.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to go in there. I'm going to slice up my wiener for the sauce. You ever slice up your wiener for the sauce?
And when you boil the pot, it sounds like this.
Yeah. And then I'm going to make me my low-carb pasta for lunch. So I don't wind up instead rushing out and buying a bunch of that Rogers ice cream or looking for a bunch of Mary Janes or Clark bars. Don't you love Clark bars? No?
I like them, but I like my Butterfingers.
Yeah, Butterfingers are good.
And the best thing about the Butterfingers is
sickeningly sweet, though.
Yeah, and you get to enjoy them all day long because they get stuck in your teeth.
Yeah, Clark bars do too. They're chewy. Nougat. Yeah. Nougat, man. Just like we said about when Israel went into Lesbian, we told them nougat. That's what we said? It's starting to sound like maybe they did. Just little tiny baby nukes, that's all. You know, don't get all bent out of shape. Don't start with that anti-Semitic crap again about the Israelis did this and the Israelis. You know, just little tiny, teeny baby nukes for a start, you know. Just to send a message. Like Joey Zaza. You think he was going to send a message?
That's right.
He was just horsing around. Joey Zaza. See, that movie wasn't as bad as you thought. That scene was okay. It was.
That scene was okay, yeah.
There were some good scenes in there, like when the Archbishop got he went flying down those stairs. 20 till 2, we got the Mad Dog back from a short, wherever the hell he went last week. Who knows where anybody goes, you know, when you come right down to it. Take whatever we give you. Take what you get. Right?
Right.
Like tonight, we got Geldy at 7 o'clock. I think there's some good TV on at 7. Oh, yeah, Squeal of Fortune's on at 7. Let me tell you right now that Lou Backroad Chevy's raced to 1,000. For the first time in their history, they're going to sell 1,000 cars in 1 month, and that ends tomorrow night. But they will be open till midnight tonight and tomorrow night because they want to sell 1,000 cars in 1 month for the first time in their history. I've been buying my Vets and other great cars from Lou Backroad for years because their prices are unbeatable, their service is top-notch, and they treat you great like a real mensch. Lou Backroad is going to give you a deal like you never saw before in your life on those great new Corvettes, trucks, SUVs, minivans. They've also got a fabulous selection of used cars starting at just $39.95. Every single one backed by a Carfax warranty. Forget about price. Make them an offer and they'll beat any deal because they want to get to that 1,000. They give you more money for your trade, 0% financing, rebates of up to $6,000, whatever it takes to make you that deal. Waiting for you at Lou Backroad Chevy these next 2 days. 2 locations for you. You'll find Lou Backroad in Pompano Beach, a quarter mile west of I-95, right by Pompano Park, and in Coconut Creek on 441, just south of the Sawgrass Expressway. Don't forget, Lou Backroad's staying open till midnight every night, so today and tomorrow, go to Lou Backroad, get the best deal you ever heard of in your life on a great new Chevy or a fabulous used automobile. Or check them on the wicked web at LouBackroad.com. That's BACHRODT, LouBackroad.com.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
My God, your breasts are beautiful.
Naked woman, saw one on TV. Naked woman, right on ABC. Naked woman, like Janet Jackson, the calls came in. Mad Nicolette Sheridan. Naked woman, at the football game. Naked woman, ABC's to blame. Naked woman, she dropped a towel below her knee. Time to deal with the FCC. Will the network cop a plea for broadcasting nudity? We should not see that for free on TV. That's what HBO is for. Cinemax or the porn store. Why are they going hardcore on ABC? Oh, Disney, that move was brave. I bet Walt Disney's rolling over in his grave. Naked woman, saw one on TV. Naked woman, right on ABC. Naked woman, like Janet Jackson, the calls rolled in. Mad at Nicolette Sheridan.
So I'm glad that mentions HBO because I Schmidt-canned accidentally that fax you sent me before about that thing that's coming up on HBO.
Oh, I could resend it.
Resend it, please. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, just to pacify Rodrigo, who obviously has an agenda, or maybe he's got the hots for Charlie Crist, Gabriel Rotello in the Huffington Post writes, he says, why are Florida's news media engaged in a conspiracy of silence concerning a core issue in the upcoming election, the truthfulness and honesty of the Republican frontrunner for governor, Charlie Crist? For those who haven't heard, the situation is this. Multiple sources have come forward alleging first-hand knowledge that Crist is gay and or has had homosexual affairs. Crist has been asked about it in public, generally by reporters from the alternative media, by constituents at meetings, and by talk show hosts, and has adamantly and repeatedly denied it. And the mainstream media have not reported a word of any of this to Florida voters. Full disclosure, as a gay person living in an era where gay issues often dominate politics, I think that a candidate's sexual orientation is as relevant to his campaign as things like his marital status or religion or how many kids he has, sometimes even more so. For example, Crist opposes adoption by gay couples and favors a constitutional amendment banning gay marriage. If I were a Florida voter, these facts would raise a host of moral, ethical, and even psychological questions if Crist himself is a gay man. But even if you don't care whether or not Crist is gay, his strenuous denials raise serious and legitimate questions about his truthfulness and credibility, just like Gary Hart's denials of extramarital affairs raise questions about his. And just like with Gary Hart, those denials cry out for serious media examination. After all, the traditional solution for gay politicians who want to remain in the closet, retain their integrity, and avoid media scrutiny is to simply refuse to answer questions about their sexuality. Even the odious Mark Foley never denied he was gay. He just attacked the question as irrelevant and the questioners as intrusive. But Crist's denials are absolute. He has in effect dared the media to prove him a liar. And how has Florida's mainstream media responded in the wake of their complete silence on Mark Foley? With more complete silence. Although Crist's alleged homosexual activity is the whispered talk of Florida, although it's been impressively detailed in the alternative Broward Palm Beach New Times, although it's being openly discussed by Crist's old friend and current Reform Party opponent Max Lynn, and dissected on a zillion websites, you wouldn't know any of this from reading the Miami Herald, the Palm Beach Post, or any of the other mainstream media outlets in the state. You get the impression that the Florida media feel that because allegations were sometimes, though not certainly always, couched as political smears by Crist's right-wing primary opponent, they're off limits to respectable reporters. But it bears repeating that the fundamental issue for journalists is not Charlie Crist's alleged homosexuality, it's his honesty and integrity. For him to choose to maintain a dignified silence in the face of such allegations would be one thing, but for him to actively deny the allegations raises the Gary Hart question. Is this candidate honest or a blatant liar and hypocrite? So memo to Florida editors and reporters, you have a professional obligation to report on stories that have a bearing on the truthfulness, integrity, and ethics of those running for the highest office in your state. If politicians make claims about their lives and backgrounds that you have reason to believe may be false, you have a duty to report that, to investigate it, and lay the results before the voters. If you don't do that, you're simply not doing your job. That's from Gabriel Rotello on the Huffington Post. Got it?
Got it.
That's for Rodrigo, who's like all bent out of shape. All whipped
I'm sure he feels better now.
You feel better, Rodrigo? And it's not too bad. Okay, so here's that thing. Hacking Democracy is the name of this HBO documentary. Are you hacking some?
I'm hacking some up.
Good. Is American democracy safe in the age of computers? This cautionary film looks at the very real risk of hackers altering vote counts in public elections and exposes the vulnerability of computers, which count approximately 80% of America's votes in county, state, and federal elections. Oh, not fixed elections in America. That would be a first. Filmed in 2004 and 2005, this documentary tells the story of Bev Harris, a Seattle publicist writer, whose watchdog group uncovered evidence of mishandled voting records and suspicious voting machine malfunctions. Harris's crusade took the group, consisting of computer experts, activists, and political candidates from both parties, from her home computer, where she found a computer system blueprint accidentally made public, to Tallahassee for a mini-election that proved just how easy it is to hack the vote. Kind of like Hack the Wife, remember that?
How could I forget?
Yeah, I think we got... Oh, yeah, we do. Speaking of O.J., if I'd done it... So anyway, Hacking Democracy is the name of the HBO documentary, and here's the schedule. It's all over the place. It's on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, November 2nd through the 10th, which, quite frankly, it's on several times before Tuesday. I would recommend, if you're going to watch it, if you have HBO, watch it before Tuesday. Before Election Day would be a good idea, because it's on all over the place on Tuesday on Election Day. Isn't that interesting? You think that's just a coincidence? Even on HBO Latino, East, West, North, South, in the middle, etc. All of these things, all these places. I'll tell you one thing, that Rogers chocolate almond brittle sounds really inviting. Thank God I'm not going to get any. Because if I did and I got my blood sugar way up, it would be your fault. You don't want to take the rap for that, do you?
No, man. I don't want that blood on my hands.
Just remember, if I croak before my birthday, folks, George, in spite of that nice gift he sent me, that was just a cover-up. You know, it's just just a deflection.
You see right through me.
1,143 votes on the poll. You know what I'm going to do right now?
Go put
we're going into our final break of the day. I beg your pardon?
You're going to go put that pasta in there.
Basta la pasta, baby. You got it. I'm going to go put my big thing right on the stove. I'm going to heat it up and stick my big can right on the stove.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
It's been brought to my attention that your ratings are dying now. Well, I want to show you what a big asset I was to you, and how. You thought you could find somebody good enough to fill my baggy pants? It ain't easy. There ain't no chance I'll ever be coming back. Outside of considering a lucrative contract. If you want to know what'll save you from shutting the transmitter down, why, that's easy. sure.
All you need is more. All you need is more. All you need is a show.
A meteor-old time slot only got you today. Says that my ratings have bottomed out in the tank. Which radio has a revolving door for the gayest of all horns? And we
all you need is more.
Now see here.
All you need is more. All you need is a show.
Over here, you find away something. Jack told me to give you this.
What?
You see? What are you going to do, fire me, huh?
Like old times. I'll line you up.
Abuga Reb.
Let's abuse some more prisoners. Make them scream nice and loud.
Yes.
Get me some wires and a battery pack.
You fairy.
I don't care if they ain't from Iraq. Should be used to the torture. 'Cause they're just playing their game. In the past, it had to be worse with Saddam Hussein.